Hello, everybody. Welcome to Plan and Traffic. My name is Lewis Lee, and we do this every Thursday night, 9 o'clock live Eastern time. So tell all your friends and family that we talk car stuff every week. And we have special guests that come on here and there. So you can go back to our YouTube channel, Plan and Traffic Show, and check out our reruns. We have all 8 years on YouTube. So I want to throw out a couple things. Speed Tube TV is a new channel playing the old Speed Channel shows, all the old racing shows, and they got some new content coming out. So if you get a chance, go check them out on YouTube as well. Speed Tube TV. There's some big stuff coming up on their channel, so please go check them out. And what else we got going on? Waiting on the fellas to jump in, and we're gonna talk some car stuff. I threw out today, Dodge is better than Ford, and I'd like to get your opinions on it. So you can leave it in the chat room, in YouTube Live or Facebook Live. So we got some of the fellas jumping in. Hey, Paul.
Hey, how's everyone tonight?
Jim? Good. How are you?
I'm freezing my butt off down here. It's not supposed to be cold in Texas.
Good. I was clapping all day knowing that you got some ice.
No, we didn't get some ice. We got a lot of ice. We got measurable ice.
Yeah. We're not doing too bad up here. It's just cold. It's supposed to drop down to, I think, 5 tonight.
Well, it's supposed to be like 70 on Monday.
Yeah.
But no, we got this place. And again, it doesn't get ice around here much. It doesn't get cold around here much.
Right.
They don't get the storms, that you see other areas of the country get. So the trees around here, once the ice got laying on the tree branches, they can't take it. Anything that was standing dead wood came down.
Wow.
Anything that was weak came down. So, yeah, we've been fighting. Power's been going in and out. Luckily, we have power right now. Power keeps going in and out. Everything's finally thawing out, though. So, man, hopefully it'll continue to warm up over the weekend.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, you never know. I'm trying to prepare myself here for anything. Like, I'm buying generators and heaters and everything. You know what I mean? I want to be able to maintain for at least a month.
But you want to be as comfortable.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes. So I was able to get, again, propane. Again, they're not used to the cold weather down here. So the propane sales have been through the roof for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But then those propane tanks, when the ice hit, they couldn't pump the propane because a lot of them were frozen up. They couldn't do anything.
Yep.
And then with the power outages, the I think it's actually called the propane company, about 5 miles down the road. I called. They said yes, but by the time I got there, they were out of power, so they couldn't fill my tank.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
But and you can't don't even think about buying a propane heater at any of the Tractor Supplies or Harbor Freight or Northern Tools or anything around here. There ain't a single one on the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, you don't buy them when it gets cold. Buy them when it's warm out.
Right.
Well, they don't stock them in September or in August when it's hot out. I mean, they don't sell a lot of them in Texas to start with, so there's no need to stock them. But we're getting through it.
And start importing them. Start smuggling them in.
Everyone laughed at me for bringing my snow shovel. Hey, I have my snow shovel.
Yep, there you go.
Prepared. I have tire chains too. I haven't got those out.
Yeah.
No shovels bring back bad memories.
Hey, you gotta be prepared.
I needed a dustpan for the garage.
Yeah. I just bought a they're called Mr. Heaters, Mr. Buddy heater.
Yes.
And it's real small and it takes the small propane tank.
Yes.
and it's real light, man. I threw it behind the seat of my truck, so if I'm out, get stuck out somewhere, man, I can heat it up.
They'll run you out of there. Those things will put off like 35,000 BTUs. They'll heat up quick.
Yeah. Hey, Ray. Where's he?
Hello, fellas.
I don't see you. Oh, there you are.
There he is.
How are you?
How's it going, Ray?
Very good. Very good. Very good. Very good.
We were talking about how happy we are that Texas got ice and cold.
Yeah, right?
Happy you are. I'm not.
Yeah.
They just wanted to give you one last taste. You know what I'm saying? See what you're really missing.
Right.
We actually had a little bit of snow the other day. It was I woke up at 3 a.m. and looked out, and I was like, wow, look at that. It's actually snow. Yeah, a little dusting.
Yeah, we got a little bit.
Yeah, we had the North Carolina snow, we're calling. My wife's calling because it was yesterday morning, dusted, and by 11 o'clock, it was all gone.
Yep.
But you're in the Mid-Atlantic. You're in the Northeast. It's supposed to snow up there. It's not supposed to snow here.
Yep, that's true.
A couple of years back when we went to San Antonio for Expo, we got in there and they had snow, and they said that was like the first time in how many years that they actually had snow on the ground. Of course, we're all like, we go someplace supposedly warm and sunny, and
it's cold.
Yeah, just like back at home.
Yeah, when I was in Vegas, I had to.
Huh?
You coming down to San Antonio this year?
Yeah, they'll be there in 2 weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. Is
2 or 3 more weeks? Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Can anybody see the comments in Facebook?
No.
Nothing's coming up on my side here. I want to give a shout out to my buddies from Blab back in the day when we first started this.
Wow,
this show, we were on a system called Blab, and Ray that comes on here every once in a while. He's having a reunion right now. I was like, oh, dude, why are you having it on my same time as I'm having my show? But I like to give a shout out to them guys because that's where this all started, is on Blab.
That is right. Yes.
That's where I met you, Ray. Right?
That's right. That's where I came on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was 8 years ago, 8.5 years ago.
And it was cool because other nights we'd get on and you just go in and out of rooms, go in and out of people's shows and conversations. It was kind of crazy.
There was times where we had 500, 600, 700 people in our room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And you like anything you were interested in. If you wanted to learn about cooking eggs, you type in that, and there was somebody on there live talking about eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty slick. That was a nice system, man. And we talked about it because it would go in and out.
Yeah.
But man, once we lost it, because the guys that owned it just quit. They was like, you know what? We want to go different way, and they just shut it off.
Yeah.
But man, they were so ahead of the game. Yep.
Yeah.
How come the topic on this conversation always turns to food? Always.
Oh,
we're all chubby.
You should always see what happens with food.
You'll understand why.
We're all chubby, but you. You're the only one ain't chubby.
I don't know. I've been putting on some weight.
Have you?
Yeah, I think I'm at 132 now.
Oh, I was 132 when I was 10.
I haven't seen 132 since I went in the military.
We'll just keep eating the sugar cookies and Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you'll catch up. Brian, how much did you weigh when you were in high school?
I was 240-ish.
Wow.
I've always been big.
Yeah, I was 220 when I got my license, my 16. I was 220.
Yeah. I was always. It was if you saw pictures of me when I was a little guy, you would have said there's no way in hell, because I was a stick figure.
Yeah.
And I hit 13, and man, that was it, dude. That was over. It was like I went to bed and woke up like Shrek. You know what I'm saying, dude? I was like, fuck.
Clothes don't fit.
Nothing fit. It was like, and in the early on, I was really bad. I used to fluctuate really, really bad with my weight.
Yeah.
And I literally had, I almost had like 2 sets of clothes because I would fluctuate really bad. And then, of course, as I got now, it's like, dude, I'm watching Paul eat, and I just felt 3 pounds grow out of my pinky. You know what I'm saying, dude? It's terrible.
No, I was probably 20 or 21 years of age before I ever broke 100 pounds.
Wow. God.
When I was going through my divorce 20 years ago, so in 2000, I had to go see the doctor. Summer of 2000. And he looked at me and he goes, step on the scale. He goes, any changes in your life? What's been going on? Because I'd put on 10 or 12 pounds since the last time he saw me. And I said, this is all what's going on. And, I'm going through the divorce. My wife left me, got this. He goes, Paul, if I'd known your wife leaving you was going to make you gain weight, I would have told you to get rid of her years ago. And I said, well, I got Marie cooking for me now. And he goes, well, I'm glad you found somebody. And I said, no, Marie Callender's. They're the ultimate frozen meal ready to go for single guys.
Yeah.
There you go. So my title today was Dodge is better than Ford. Just to get people talking.
Yeah. That's
what do you
terrible. That's a terrible subject.
Right?
Well, no, I think it's maybe not the best way to put it, but there's a really good conversation here. If you go back through automotive history, you have to go back over 100 years, right around 100 years. If it wasn't
Ford hired the Dodge boys.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the Dodge brothers, we wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
But it comes down to, if it wasn't for the Dodge brothers, they had the foundry. Everybody's stuff was made at the Dodge Brothers foundry.
Yeah. So
is Dodge better than Ford? Is Ford better than Chevrolet? Is Chevrolet better than Audi?
When you look back like that, you can even say that it's like, Dr. Porsche. If there wasn't a Dr. Porsche, then half of that German stuff wouldn't even been around. So
correct.
It's the same. Those are forefathers or the leaders of the things, and some people have a hard time understanding that or accepting that, but that's just the way it is. I mean, you
can't change history. This is the way history goes. This is how it all started.
Well, I came to the vision of, not vision, but I realized the difference of vehicles when I had my tow trucks, when I was doing my repo, and I had a Dodge, I had a Ford, I had a Chevy, and each one has their strengths and weaknesses.
Oh yeah.
So it all depends on what you're doing. Like the Dodge has a stronger frame than the Ford. So I had the flatbeds were Dodge. Wreckers, with the Stingers were the Fords. You hit them real quick. They moved around a little better. I like the Cummins motor in the Dodge. You can hop it up to a monster. I mean, everything has its ups and downs. It all depends on what you're using it for.
It's like I've said before, it depends on what's in the driveway.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got no, I like Fords.
Did somebody
like
say
Chevy
something about food?
and Dodges?
Oh yeah, we knew you were coming. Yeah, I like a lot of stuff, man. When people say you're not a real car guy because you only like one car, I like everything, man. It don't matter if it starts up, I like it.
Well, there's a couple different scenarios, and I'll bring up a guy that very few people even know about, Bizzarini. Bizzarini was Ferrari's chief engineer in the 50s and early 60s. He was the brainchild and the reason that Ferrari 250 GTOs went to the racetrack and won Le Mans that year. But he was fired from Ferrari. And when he was fired from Ferrari, he just wanted to do a payback, but he couldn't really manufacture anything himself. So what did he do? He went to every manufacturer throughout the world. He went to the United States. He went to Japan. He went down to, I guess it was Argentina or somewhere South America. And he was able to obtain components from Ford, Chevrolet, Chrysler, stuff from Jaguar, stuff from AC, stuff from Mercedes, Saab. He went to everybody to get the components to build a car to go out and beat Ferrari, and he did. So, I mean, everyone knows the Ford versus Ferrari movie and scenario on the GT40s, but there's another car in there too called the Bizzarini that doesn't get the credit that it should have gotten. But it's the same thing. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. You had to take the best of everything and combine it together as one. So, yeah, if you took the frame of the heavy-duty truck, the light bed from the Jardan flatbed, the Cummins diesel engine, then you have the ultimate tow truck. But did they actually make the ultimate tow truck? No. They all had...
Yep, they're quirks.
Yeah, everything had an up and down to it. You want it right? You're gonna have to build it yourself.
Yeah, and that's the truth. Little extra weld here and there.
I guess another part of this conversation is what era are you talking about? If you're talking the 60s and 70s with the muscle cars and things like that, those of us who remember that, we made fun of everybody who had something that we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I was a Chevy guy because all my friends were Pontiac guys and they hated my guts. There was the one or two Ford guys and we all made fun of him. The guys with the Mopars. And yeah, it's just the way it was. Nowadays, like a friend of mine once told me, they're all junk. They're all going to end up.
The director.
Yeah.
Well, they're disposable now. No car is ever meant for maintenance and service the way they were years ago.
Yeah.
Well, even the old ones weren't really meant to be saved. They just were built. They were just built a different way that they've lasted or they stuck around.
Every 4 years. Listen, I bought my 65 Pontiac in 1975, and it already had rust in the quarter panels. In 10 years, that was it. So,
yep.
A lot of them just observed.
My 70 Chevelle Super Sport, I purchased in 84, 85. So the car's 15 years old. I paid $500, I think, for a 70 Chevelle big block Super Sport car.
That was great.
That's a killer deal.
At the time, it was not a killer deal. At the time, it was just another worn out car that needed $500 or $600 worth of work done to it to make it pass inspection. It was a worn out car. It smoked. There weren't any mosquitoes around me when I drove by. But, and then I had a hard time sleeping when I sold the car for $500.
Wow.
I had a hard time sleeping, thinking I'd rip the guy off.
Wow.
But
ain't that something?
I can honestly say I've never sold a car for more than I paid for it.
To have that same 70 Chevelle in the condition I sold it in would be $10,000 if you could even find it in that good a condition.
Yeah.
1985, and I'm talking New York area. Original big block Chevelle, and it was original SS. I mean, even the condition you were saying is a $2,000-$3,000 car. And in '85, $2,000-$3,000 was actually a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that car sold for in 1970.
Yeah.
It was about $3,000.
Yep.
Now I was just at a garage where there are a lot of cars stored just there last night, And one of the guys just picked up a 70 SS big block Chevelle that he was partners in 1975. It's still all original, and he paid $34,000 for it, and it's not perfect.
I don't think, yeah.
So,
Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
In the 80s, and again, the Dodge, Ford, Chevrolet thing in the 80s was coming back. It was more of the Fox body Mustang versus the Grand National type thing. But the Dodges were starting to come in a little as well then.
Yeah. That Shelby.
Yeah, the Shelby, what were they? Dodge Omni Turbos.
DLHS.
well, those were the 2.2 years, yeah.
The 2.2 was the non-turbo. The 2.5 was the turbo.
Okay.
Or maybe I have that backwards.
No, I think the 2.2 was the turbo, yeah.
Okay. Made a lot of money on timing belts. You could do nothing but timing belts once or twice a day and have a really good paycheck every week.
Yeah, very
because
true.
all those timing belts need to be done on those 2.2 and 2.5 Dodge motors, on the Ford Escort motors, on the Chevy Chevette engines.
Yep.
Everything had a timing belt, and they all needed to be replaced because enough people had gotten the fear of, oh my God, change your timing belt before it snaps the valves. Oh, that was, I guess, kind of like points. Long time, everyone had a set points and condenser, and usually kept extra set of points with you because it had to be done.
Anybody here had a Chevette? I had a two-door Chevette, 79 or 80. Two-door, I could barely fit in it, but man, that thing was so good on gas, I drove it until the wheels fell off.
The Chevette was good on gas, but then after the Chevettes, they had the what were those things called? The Chevy Metro or the Chevy Sprint.
And the Celebrity, that's about
Celebrity.
when I too.
Yeah.
Remember the
Celebrity
Celebrity?
was a little bit bigger.
The smaller
Geo made the Metro. That was some weird Japanese thing that
was Geo, yeah.
I had one of those too.
Oh yeah, the Geo Metro. Those were tiny.
Geo Metro, the 3-cylinder Geo Metro.
Yep. Listen to this one. I had a two-door one of those, and I traded it for a four-wheeler. I had a four-wheeler, and I traded it for this car because I was living 19 miles away from work. So, man, that thing was super on gas. Man, people laughed at me, but I was like, hey, I see you at the gas station. I'm rolling by.
Now, I remember
I went to
Geo Metros get 50 miles to the gallon.
Yep.
Yes.
And gas was $1 a gallon. So yeah, you could run from Southern Maryland over to the Eastern Shore, play at the beach all day long, and you'd spend more money in tolls than you did in gas.
We were at Fitzsimmons Army Medical Center in Denver, and the guy I was with rented one of those 3-cylinder Chevette, whatever the hell they were. And we're going down the freeway, and he says, this damn thing will do 80 miles an hour without any problem. I said, why is that? He said, look at that truck behind us. All we saw was a grill.
Drafted
80 miles an hour in that little bastard, and that fucking semi was right on our backside.
They made one of those 3-cylinder cars with a turbo, too, I recall.
I don't know.
I don't remember which one it was.
That Yugo had 3 cylinders too, I think.
did it.
Now, see, enough people joke about the Yugos. I guarantee you, one day somebody is going to open the doors of a barn and go, wow, an 85 Yugo.
Yeah. Okay. This I got to see.
You know what? I'll give you a piece of Yugo trivia in history. It's actually, well, I learned it as Fiat trivia in history, but it pertains to a Yugo. I have a Fiat Spider, and those cars they came with 13-inch wheels, 4-lug pattern, and the lug pattern is a 4 by 98 millimeter pattern, where all the other Japanese cars of its era are like 4 by 100. So, guys would hog out and fit the 100mm spacing on the car, but the wheels would always go bad. There's 3 cars that use a 4x98mm pattern. And when I was looking for wheels, I was limited to other Fiats, the Yugo, and believe it or not, the Maserati. So have Maserati bi-turbo wheels on my Fiat Spider because you can put them on the Yugo too. So, there's your car, my history for the night.
All right.
Maserati.
What year Maserati?
The bi-turbo was made in the 80s. I'm not sure the exact year range. That
was that ugly one, huh?
A lot of people think the car was, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't one of the most beautiful ones, but
didn't Dodge own them for a minute?
It still has a big following. I'll tell you that. They still come up and people snap those cars up when they get them. And the cool thing about the wheels are they're aluminum. Actually, I think it may be like it's not fully aluminum. Maybe like a magnesium alloy. They're very, very light. And for the lug bolts, they actually put a hardened steel insert, so you don't have the steel bolt on the soft wheel. They're really nice wheels. So,
learn something new every day.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Uh-oh.
We're gonna play a game.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna think of a number between 1 and 10, and whoever gets the closest wins a house full of women.
Yeah.
0.
I'll tell you what, Brian,
0.
I'll do a swap with you because I got a house full over here.
Trust me, it's all good. Seriously.
I bet.
I mean, when I was a young guy and I looked up to the sky and I said, Lord, I want a house full of women.
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Strong-willed women.
He didn't tell me I had to make them all, but I got a house full of women, so I don't ask for shit anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, be careful what you ask for. That sense of humor can get you in trouble.
Nah, it's all good, guys.
Now, you were talking about trucks and that. I started out with a 72 GMC pickup with a 350. 8 miles a gallon. That sucked.
Yeah.
Then we got then I bought a 78 Ford Extendicab or whatever they call it. Kept that one for a few years. Got divorced. The ex got that. I got to keep my, what the hell was I even driving? Some piece of shit. And later on, I bought a 78 Ford pickup. And then when I got married to Debbie, we got Grandpa's 85 Ford and his 71. Wow. We got him. I mean, I had to pay for him. That man was a horse trader.
Yeah.
He wasn't going to give you shit.
There you go.
I've been driving Fords for the last 20 years. Have I thought about driving Chevys or Dodge? Yeah.
If I can get it at the right price.
Best deals I found are on Fords.
Yep.
And in Montana, you can't find a Dodge.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody there snaps them up because they like them.
All right. I got a good question. When you started driving, how much was gas?
25 cents or so a gallon, I guess.
Mine was 65 cents.
I was going to say somewhere around 75 cents a gallon, 85 cents a gallon, somewhere in there. I remember the jump into the low 90s. And then I remember going to $1 a gallon right around 1990.
Yep.
About $1.15, $1.20.
I cried when it hit $1 a gallon, and it cost me $20 to fill my truck up, 20-gallon fuel tank.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to pay $20 and fill my tank up now. We just, before we left California, we filled up our Volkswagen, and it took $50-something, $60 to fill up the tank.
It's terrible.
Wow. And I'm sitting there looking at this going, I don't want to see what our fuel bill is going to be on this diesel when we get back from the trip. I don't want to know at $5 a gallon. I just don't.
You know, after we went through that second gas crisis back in the 70s, that's when I got a motorcycle. And I found out that, wow, I could take my big Pontiac, my GTO, fill it, and park it in the driveway and just siphon the gas out into the motorcycle for like 2 months. That's what I was doing.
Hey,
remember the when we had the even and odd. When I had in the Mustang, and of course, you know, Mr. Leadfoot over here thing, I would take the tags off of my dad's because it was odd and I was even or something. And it was funny because the guy at the gas station was like, "Weren't you here yesterday?" You know, and I'm like, no. And of course, you know, I got odds and even. And I think one time I forgot to put the screw all the way back in, so like the tag fell down. And of course, you know, my dad's like going after the neighbor kid across the street, and I'm like, damn, I think I forgot to put the tag in there, you know. But yeah, that was crazy. He had a 76 Buick LeSabre, last of the big cars. It was a 4-door. And that was it was silver, but by that time it had completely lost all of its pigmentation color wise, so it was just gray. Yeah. So we called it the gray ghost. And man, that thing
floated.
Yeah, that thing.
Silver cars in the late 60s through the early 80s never held their color.
No.
It went away within a few months. You'd go and have the car freshly repainted under warranty because the paint went away. And 3 more months later, that silver would be gone. No matter what coating was used, how it was prepped, no matter what, silver was the worst color.
Yeah, that was terrible. It was silver with red velour interior.
Yeah.
That was.
That looks good.
Yeah.
And I used to flip the air cleaner over that little 305, and you hear that thing going down the road, and I'd forget to put it back, and I'd think of it right when Dad left like 4 a.m. or whatever, and I would think of it right at the moment when he would start the car up, and I'm like, oh shit, I've got to turn the air cleaner. And he get down to the bottom of the street cussing my ass out because he's out there flipping the air cleaner back over. I tell you, man.
Well, you weren't hurt anything because all the air was going through the filter anyway.
Little ram air induction.
Yeah, I know, but you know.
Just tell him, think of all the horsepower.
It's making noises.
I'm going to tell you something, man. That poor little 305 in it, but I tell you one thing, when you got that thing sideways, that was a lot of ass swinging out on that car, man. I had a lot of fun in that car. Poor car. You look out the side mirror, and all you saw was quarter panel all the way down, man. That was a hell of a stretch. Yeah, that was great.
Back when I thought I was a good driver, I used to take my uncle's 61 pickup, 6-cylinder, 3-speed, down these gravel roads in Mississippi, playing moonshiner, and slide around and all that other shit. I got that truck sideways a bunch of times, and then suddenly it dawned on me, if I wreck his truck, my ass is going to be in big trouble.
Yeah.
So I decided to be a little calmer with other people's vehicles.
Yeah.
I still love gravel roads.
I never learned that lesson.
You were smart enough to listen to yourself. I wasn't.
I didn't say I listened completely. With my own cars, I do things, but I'm sorry, my uncle looked like one of these collectors for the mafia.
Oh yeah.
Short, thug, big, huge fingers. All I had to do was hit you alongside the head, and I didn't want to get hit.
Yeah. All right, next question. What was your first vehicle?
Mine was an 82 Z28.
82 Z28.
Wow. Yeah.
Is that the
I
first
had a
car?
six-
I mean, your first vehicle, as in what you bought or what you had to drive?
What I bought.
One you bought. Yeah,
What-
the first
what-
one you bought.
Oh, okay.
Mine
was
was
my Mustang.
yeah. Mine was 73 Cutlass
Nice.
Was that a bubble window one or a square back?
square.
Square.
Mm-hmm.
I had a
Well-
95 F-150.
My first
61
car.
F85 Oldsmobile.
61.
61 F85 Oldsmobile.
No,
That's a cool car.
It was a nice little car, except I didn't know anything about aluminum engines. You know, that you're supposed to keep antifreeze in the radiator all year round.
Things like that, huh?
Yeah,
I'm in Texas. Water in the summer, radiator fluid in the winter.
yeah.
Eroded the hell out of those heads.
Yeah.
All right, Paul, you're up.
My first car was actually a gift from my father. It was a 64 Chevelle two-door wagon. But my father said, I'm not turning a 16-year-old kid loose with 350, 370 horsepower in a Chevelle wagon with a 4-speed. So I got the car, but I did not get the engine.
I thought you were gonna say like unplug the spark plug wire. Get in his pocket.
My father kept the engine. It was actually sold to my godfather, who still has that engine. We discuss it from time to time. The transmission went to my godfather as well. So then I'm left with a pretty nice car, a 64 Chevelle two-door station wagon with no motor, no trans. And I had to make a decision. My decision was to sell the car.
Mm.
So I sold the car, and the money went into a savings account. And I had access to that savings account that dwindled a little at a time till it was about a third of the way gone. Spent on nothing but foolish things and nothing that I had to show for it. And I got in a little bit of trouble for that. And about a year or so later, my father helped me co-sign a loan because I actually had some money at this point. Straightened some things out, and I had been putting away some money. Didn't really need a car for where we were living, but I went up to Sport Chevrolet, about 12 grand in my pocket. I took the bus to go up to Sport Chevrolet to buy a Monte Carlo Super Sport in 1985.
Wow.
And I was pretty much told to leave the dealership. It didn't matter that I had money in my pocket. They were not going to sell me the car. So at that time, the commuter buses went only one way in the evening. That was north on 29. I
Oh no.
bus up
Ugh.
because I was expecting to drive a car home. So then I get back home. I don't even remember how it was I got back home, but I got back home. And my father went with me over to Chevy Chase Chevrolet. So then we went over to Chevy Chase Chevrolet, and I drove out of Chevy Chase Chevrolet in a white 85 Monte Carlo Super Sport, first part of September of 1985. It had to have been after Labor Day weekend, but it was very first part of September. And I had a lot of fun with that car for about 6 weeks.
Uh-oh.
Then that whole oak tree in my way thing.
Those darn trees.
It'll get you every time.
Them damn oak trees, they just jump off the sidewalk and right into the middle of the street.
Ain't that nowhere?
So that was on Randolph Road, right in front of Wheaton High School.
Yep.
So made the news, made the paper,
Wow, slow.
all that neat stuff. Monte Carlo Super Sport wrapped around the tree, and then after the insurance company paid off the car, but I took a loss because the car went down in value as soon as you drove it away, and
Yeah, that's before gap insurance.
yeah, all that stuff. So didn't want to go back into debt and have car payments. And I ended up buying a 55 Chevrolet 2-door hardtop with a fiberglass front clip and 488 rear gears. Now,
Was it the same oak tree?
no, it wasn't the same oak tree, but man, small block Chevrolets don't like to go out on the 495 or the Route 58 to Ocean City and back with 488 gears.
Nothing likes going on 488 gears.
Yeah, but when you're young, hey, that stoplight is a lot of fun.
Sounds good.
When I went to Ocean City, I had a set of 308s that I put in, and then when I got to the beach, I put the 457s in. So
there you go.
There ain't nothing like I said. I'm surprised I didn't. The only reason why I didn't have a girlfriend in high school because I smelled like 90 weight because I played in that the whole time between blowing transmissions and rears up.
You got on?
Oh yeah.
You know, we must have really liked to work hard back then because that's all we did was we worked hard to earn money, work hard on the car that we break to work hard on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know where all the time came from.
I don't know either.
Working 1, 2, 3 jobs, playing with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different women, and then you go to help your buddy out on top of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So just real fast, answering Lewis's question, my first car was a '69 Camaro. That I really at the time really needed to learn how to drive in the rain.
Yeah, oh my God.
Wasn't good at that. And this
cooler first cars that
the
I
only
had.
thing left of my first '69 Camaro.
Oh, nice.
Oh man.
I kept the rolling. And talking about Monte Carlo SSs, my first brand new car. So I got a new job, field service technician, and I needed a car. And between the '69 Camaro I had, which wasn't going to do it, and the other car, the daily driver, was a '71 Cadillac Coupe de Ville.
Mm.
That I bought right after the gas prices because we can't afford to put gas in this car. So I got it cheap. What a great car, but no, I wasn't going to use that for service.
Mm-hmm.
So I got together. I was like, yeah, it's time. I got a good job, pays very well. Might as well get a brand new car. So I was thinking, okay, it's 1983, Z28, of course. Went to the insurance company, and the insurance guy just laughed out loud. I told him how old I was. So I said, well, wait a minute. What about a Monte Carlo SS? He's like, well, Monte Carlos aren't bad. I don't know what a Monte Carlo SS is. So, okay, fine. Drove up to Bay Chevrolet, sat down with the salesman, filled everything out, and I got myself a blue 1983 Monte Carlo SS, and that was my first new car.
Wow.
Nice.
I always I used to go to a bunch of car shows with Joe D, as a matter of fact. We went to Super Chevy Sunday that year. And I'll never forget, one of the guys with Joe, he had a full-out ISCA show car. Yeah, a 68 Chevelle. He's absolutely gorgeous. So we went out to dinner that night. We all took my car because I got all the seats. And he's looking at my car. He's like, Jim, this is really a nice car. I'm like, dude, have you seen your Chevelle? Yeah, it's a brand new Monte Carlo, but you still got that Chevelle. And Ray may know this. Hot Rod Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Went there one night, and there was a truck way back then called Lovin' It. It was a Chevy Love, full-out show car, small block, big 671 blower sticking out, 1432s in the back. This truck was absolutely gorgeous. So we're there one night, and I take my car. I was like, it's a brand new car. I'm going to park over here someplace so that I'm not taking up spots from somebody else. And the guy pulls up with the Lovin' It pickup truck. So I'm like, I've seen that truck 50 times already. I don't need to see it again. But of course, he pulls up, 50 people run over to him, and they start gawking all over it. He gets out of his truck, turns around, looks at my car, walks over to it and checks out my Monte Carlo. And I'm like, there's nothing better.
Those Monte Carlos were nice.
The 83 was only available in blue, wasn't it?
No, the majority was white. The only two colors you could get were white and blue.
Okay, it was white and blue.
Same thing, white and blue. It was 85, you get white, red, or black.
They didn't come in with the other colors until 85 or so.
85 was the first year for the couple more colors. It took out the blue, put in red and black.
You know what's strange? Not strange. Well, it's strange to me when we talk about 80s cars. I grew up in that, so it's not an old car to me. You know what I mean? Like 85 is like not old.
True.
You know, then Chevy did that again with the Impala. They had that weird thing about limited colors, limited years. Like, I don't know what the hell they were doing.
So 94 was black only, right?
That's right.
Those are nice cars, though.
Yeah. I got married in the 80s. I went into Court Chevrolet to buy a new Monte SS. I had never bought a new car before. And I walked in thinking that I could do what everybody before me did and order it. Get the engine I want, the transmission I want. And, of course, I wanted an 8. I was driving a 73 Monte with a big block in it. So I wanted, an 84 with a big block. So I knew I couldn't get that, but say, okay, a small TPI motor's cool. I want a 5-speed. No, it's only an automatic. I'm like, okay, well, what rear end gears can I get in this thing? Well, it comes with 305s. No, probably
308s.
308, probably.
300. Yeah, I'm like, no. So I found out I couldn't order the car. And I said, okay. I left. I said, I'll stick with the Monte Carlo I have. I'll stick with the big block that I got. And never did buy one.
Well, that's like what Jim was saying. So when I came around and when I bought my first new car, which was an 89 Mustang GT, and my dad knew a guy that he worked with or went to school with that owned a dealership up in Pennsylvania. I don't even know what it was. It was right outside near the Harley Davidson plant.
York.
But I went up there and ordered my car. And it was the same thing, Ray. I sat down and I'm like, we're getting this and I'm doing that. He goes, no, it doesn't work that way, dude. Mm-hmm. It's like you want a GT and you're going to get
5.0.
The 5.0 and I wanted a manual and I didn't want power windows. I wanted the roll-up windows.
Oh,
but you couldn't do that because it was part of the package deal. And I said, all right, well, I want the bigger gear. And the biggest rear was like 308s. You know what I'm saying? Because the automatic was 284 or 265 or whatever. So I'm like, all right. So he orders the car. And meanwhile, as things go on, I get nailed for drag racing in Aspen Hill.
Yep.
And I get nailed for drag racing. Actually, it wasn't Aspen Hill. I was still in Olney. That's where it was. And the guy ran. I stayed. I mean, the cop pulled me over and said, don't go anywhere. And he took off after the other guy and caught him in Aspen Hill. That's like 10 miles away, chase, So I'm sitting there and my buddy is with me. And he's like, aren't you leaving? I said, dude, where am I going to hide? I mean, I got this fastback, no exhaust, tunnel, I got 2 4s. I mean, it's like I can't hide the car. They all know where I live. So the cop comes back. He goes, you stayed. I said, dude, where am I going to go? You got me. I mean, I'm just going to take it. So he still throws the book at me. Got like 16 points. He threw everything under the sun. So
you stayed.
I had to go to court. And of course, I had probation, told the judge I needed my license to work, and it got knocked down to like 6 points or 7 points, and I had a year probation, and they upped the fine. Well, the Mustang comes in. Okay, so we go up, bring the car home. Funny thing about bringing a car home, I was so used to driving a 4-speed, I forgot I had 5th gear. So I'm screaming this thing down from Pennsylvania, and I'm like, man, this thing's got a lot of pep. They put the wrong rear in this car. So I'm like cruising this thing, the RPM screaming, the car is all I talk about breaking a car in, you know what I'm saying? I mean, and then I get in on the 29 and I realize 5th gear and the car goes, I'm like, man, this is crazy. So I get home and of course, my dad's like, well, what are you going to do about insurance? I said, I don't know. What am I going to do about insurance? I'll call Walt up. Called the insurance guy.
Apple. That's
I
entirely
said,
accurate.
"Hey, Walt, I got this new car." He goes, "Well, what did you buy?" And I said, "A Mustang GT." And as your insurance guy laughed at you, Walt said, "What the hell were you thinking? You got all these points." I mean, my first year for insurance was like $6,000 on that car.
Whoa.
Because I
What'd
was
you pay it?
probation and everything, dude. It was terrible. That was a hard year and a half with insurance on that car. So
Yep.
it was crazy.
Wow.
Good times. But
You could have bought another car, couldn't you?
I'm telling you, man, trust me, I worked luckily, like I said, I got decent paychecks, but I had to work hard, and the whole time I'm like making a car payment and paying insurance.
And you had tool payments then.
Oh yeah, dude, that was
the
I
highway
didn't
you
own the
burning
Matco truck then, even though I should have after what the amount of money I paid, but that's a whole nother story.
You know, as we were talking, I've realized I've never bought a brand new car.
Oh well, we'll just take you right
He's
on
the
down right
smart
now,
one.
Liz.
You're the
I'm sitting here thinking, what brand new car did I buy? And I haven't.
The first new car I bought was my 95
I
Impala,
never have either.
and then traded in a year later on the 96. And then I bought my Mazda, but that was it. The only ones I've ever bought.
Oh, that's wow! Look at that. Yeah.
Oh, a Grand Prix next to it, 80 or 79.
79, yeah.
My mom had a 79 just like that, but it was two-tone gray. What year is
this
that?
was like a baby. It's a 79. It's
What
like
year is
a
your
baby
Camaro?
blue. That's the 82. That's the 82 Camaro.
My
Let's
86
see.
or 88.
What year was the Fast Time Ridgemont High? My dad's a TV repairman. We can fix that.
Well, he has an awesome set of tools.
Yeah.
And then I got that Firebird, 91 Firebird afterwards.
Wow. Well, that's body action.
Here's
What
mine.
Nice car, Lewis.
that?
Isaac, sit. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
T-tops.
With the armadillo window.
Had
They gave me one of those for the Ford Escort. I never put them on. I refused to put them on.
Here's my 79 Cutlass.
Yeah, the G machine.
Cutlass, yeah.
Had T-tops too.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had 10 grand in the trunk.
Wow.
That was my competition car. Here's how you go when you go pimping.
Yep. Yeah, when I ordered my Mustang, I ordered it with T-tops, and I get they called me up a couple, like, I don't know, 2 or 3. Well, actually, it was funny because it was in '89, and that was the 25th anniversary. And if you ordered the car between a certain date, you got a plaque that said,
Yes.
the year,
anniversary date on the dash.
Right, got a plaque, and like I don't know if I can find it, but the window sticker was had the old 65, 66 Ford emblem with the horse running through, red, white,
I remember.
So I ordered it during that time period, and they called me up and said, "Oh, we got a problem. You can't get T-tops." And I said, "Well, what do you mean I can't get T-tops?" And they said, "Well, it's taking the cells away from the convertibles. So in '89, you can't do it." And I said, he goes, I said, "Okay, well, all right, whatever, dude. Just, you ordered the car, right?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm getting ready to." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, I had to do it by this time period so that I can get the stuff." And he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it." And I was like, "Man, if I don't," and sure enough, I got it all,
Oh, good.
and I got it it was on the car. But the funny part was, I guess a lot of people complained about it. Ford ended up sending out everybody the plaque and the little sticker. It was a little sticker, and it was like, it had a special cassette tape, it had like music
right
through the time of the Mustang or whatever,
Mhm.
and so I ended up getting another one of those in the mail because people put stick it on their dash on the car and so forth. But I was, like I said, it was like, what do you mean I can't? Because I ordered all this stuff on this car, and hell, I didn't even get half of it.
I learned something about those cars in the early 90s. My buddy Gerard had one. He started racing in the ST2 street class. He started with a GT because he figured, let me start with something small, light, with some power. But he found out that he was kind of in the weird part of the class with the power to weight ratio. So the next year, he comes up with another car. He goes, yeah, we got to build another car. And it was a Capri. Like a Capri, with the slanted back. Oh, my
lighter.
Capri.
Yeah, they were a lot lighter.
Yep.
So he drummed the 5.0 Mustang motor in the Capri.
Yep.
Changed all around, and he was competitive. Then he found out we went from fuel injection one year. The next year, it's like, I gotta go to a car. Went to a carbureted version. The next year, he takes out the 8, puts in a turbo 4. He had every combination in these cars, and was competitive with all of them. Just
yeah.
I had two friends. One had a Mustang GT and one had a Mustang 5.0. And that 5.0 would put it in them because it was lighter.
The LX was a lighter platform.
5.0 was faster than the GT 5.0.
Yeah. And like you were saying right before, the LX, I remember he got one of them because it had crank windows, didn't have the T-tops. It was like the stripper version.
Yeah.
I worked on those cars a lot. I can't tell you how many times we changed trannies, clutches, rear ends. We did it all at night in the front end shop. And a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
They were making cars because the people were buying them and tearing them up, and same with the Grand Nationals and the Pontiac 2+2s and the Monte Super Sports brakes. Man, you could make a fortune on brakes. Every 6 to 10 weeks, the same car would be coming in with another fried set of brakes because the brakes on the cars just were not able to stop the cars.
Yeah.
So you tore them up.
Yeah.
A lot of money doing all that G-body suspension work, all those Fox body Mustangs. Good time.
Yeah.
What body style was like yours, Isaac? What was that? Is that a G? That's not a G body. G body was like a Grand National, but what was after? Is that F? Like on
which one?
The F body is the Camaro and Firebird platform.
Yeah, but is that like the 82, 84, like that platform? Was that an F body or that's not a G body?
Yeah.
Because G body was square body cars, right?
No,
G-body went from 78 to 87.
Are you talking about the Grand Prix or are you talking about the Camaro?
I'm talking about the Camaro, that one with the funny nose on it.
It was both the Firebird and the Camaro were F body. They were third gen F body.
Yeah, I couldn't. I was trying to
went all the
remember
way up
my
to 89, I think.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember
91,
my
91.
alphabet there.
Oh yeah, the RS. Yeah.
And now, like you guys, I've been duly ingrained in this C4 Corvette platform. The one we were working on is now out of the shop, and there's another one coming in this weekend.
Really?
Cars already.
They come in threes.
Launcher.
Yeah, this one's a real nice one. The
Three.
one, just bought it last night.
Have you guys seen Mike Cotton's?
No.
You got to go on Mike Cotton's Instagram or YouTube, or not YouTube, Facebook. He's putting together one, and it's a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, LS swap, and it don't fit under the hood, so he cut the middle of the hood out.
Of course.
I guess I'm gonna be getting
Right, guys, I gotta bail because I gotta get up a little earlier tomorrow because the wife's got a doctor's appointment of all things.
Oh yeah. Good luck. Mine does too.
Yeah, good luck.
That's why I was going to tell you. And CJ, you win, buddy. He guessed 5. He's a winner. Got a house full of women coming your way, buddy.
All right, good night, guys.
All right, buddy.
Good night. Be safe, Jim.
Now, I'm going to get me an LS education here coming up because this one car that's at the one shop at Vintage Iron, Texas, that's getting an LS swap done to it. I'll get my education on that one. It's supposed to be a twin turbo LS.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I was over at Tyler's shop a couple days ago, and he has like 4 or 5 of them tore apart. So he was giving me a little education on them. There's a lot of work to switch those.
What do you mean to switch what, Louis? The whole engine?
Yeah, to swap.
The good thing is, it's just like back in the days of the small block into the 55 Chevy. Now everybody's making conversion mounts and oil pans.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go with the right company, it's all there. You just have to spend the money.
Yeah, somebody else has already done the research and development. You just got to buy their components.
Yeah, Justin, they did a lot of it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
And the guy right there.
Oh,
You,
right
you
there.
mentioned LS, and Terry jumps in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carrie's LS.
Yeah, I'll have to be in touch with Terry here on this one, maybe.
What do you plan on? Oh, the LS swap?
It's an LS swap into a 69 Camaro.
I got one in the garage right here.
Well, send a bunch of research pictures.
We got one too. What picture?
I got you covered. And you want to know something? That one I did that LS. That was the first LS I did for myself back in 2006. So there were no companies. There were no companies that made cross members, motor mounts. The only company that made one was a company called Street and Performance. Guys out in Arkansas. But then after that, companies started popping up all over the place, But now it's so much easier. But back then, I pretty much had to fab up all the parts. On my Chevelle, I did the Chevelle back in 2008. I had to pretty much make the cross member, use the stock cross member, cut the perch, flip it around, put it up in the car, tack it where it should be, do the whole pitch angle thing, tack it, pull it out, weld it up. And that cross member is still in that car today. So now like Ray says, you could just go and just get a kit, cross member, transmission member, everything's all
the catalog. Yeah,
the work is done.
Yeah.
And like Terry, I mean, that's how you made your bones with the harnesses and all. Now it's plug and play. Buy it.
Now you can get harnesses. Back then I had to pin harnesses out.
Right.
That's
the
fun.
94 the 94 Sierra we're doing. Yeah, everything. You can buy a whole thing. Mounts, headers,
PSI.
whatever.
Everything.
It was I don't know, maybe a year ago. I don't know. I can't remember if it was a year or a little longer ago, but I was watching something on Motor Trend, and it was, from a car show. And they were talking that was one of the things that Ford was really working on with the Coyote. They were basically saying all you had to do was tell us what you're putting the Coyote in, and they would, Ford themselves, the Ford Motorsport division, would do the research and find what you needed to make it work, because they wanted to try to compete with that LS.
Wow. Yeah.
And so forth,
The only thing that can compete with the LS is the Godzilla for the Ford people.
Yeah,
that's it.
Oh, stop!
That's it. That is it.
Have you looked at it? We were looking at it at PRI, man.
That is it.
It's for real.
That's your LS right there. For all you boys that don't want to put LSs in, but the LS is the best engine to put in the car, but I just can't put an LS in the car. You better get yourself a Godzilla. Fast time Ridgemont High Camaro was a 79 Z28.
Yeah. I know it wasn't. I know it wasn't the newer style like that or fourth.
No, it didn't have the induction. That came out in 81. So it technically could be a 78 or 79. I'm going to say it's a 79 because 80 was the year they went with the air injection and the different gills on the side, the opening gills, opening.
And the fenders?
What do they call? In the fenders,
yeah.
It wasn't a fucking fish, Terry. Why would it have gills on the side like that?
Yeah, it's a barracuda.
79, 80, they had the gills. They look like little gills. So they look like little fish gills, yes.
Right.
I'm just joking with you, bud.
I know you are.
I still
you're a
love
Ford
you.
guy. I understand. You wanted a GT with roll down windows. I heard you.
Damn right. I was, and I had a mullet to go with it too. All right, so
Nice.
So I got a story with a GT. I went to Cleveland one time and I repoed a GT. It was a '86. And I was coming back down 75, and a guy pulled up with his girlfriend in a Acura. Right, so he's messing with me. He's bumping. Look, this ain't my car. You know what I mean? That's a repo. I repoed it. So I got into it, right? So we running, and this dude's so pissed that I'm blowing him up. He's on the berm and rocks and stuff are flying. He's trying to get around. Man, my buddy that was following us in his car, he was like, man, that you blew that dude a hole.
Wow.
That must have been pretty quick.
It wasn't a GT story, but it was kind of funny. When I worked at the gas station, the place I worked at, they restored Corvettes. And my daily driver was a 67 427 with 3.2s. And I'm driving down Georgia Avenue going through Aspen Hill. And this kid pulls up with with his girlfriend. And they got a Camaro, like, 82, that vintage Z28, And I looked over at the, and of course I had the note. It was a Stingray, and there was no top. I'm sitting there and looked over, and I asked the girl if she really liked which car she really liked, and that guy was pissed, man. He was all up in it. So I just take off nice and easy, and he's over there revving and jumping the car all around. We get to the next light, going towards up towards Leisure World,
Right.
and that stretch there.
Yes.
Dude, I waxed this guy, and I almost thought I had a problem because we got to the next light or a couple lights down, and the girl started to get out of that guy's car, and I was like, dude, I don't need this problem. You can just stay over there. But that was a lot of fun. Buddy of mine worked at the gas station. His car was a 63 split window. Fuel.
So wait a minute. Did you say that was your daily driver?
At the gas station, yeah.
What do you mean at the gas station? Whose car was it?
Well, it was somebody's car.
Okay, that's what I thought.
That's what
That's all I need to know.
But I mean, we'll have to talk off air. But
no, I got it.
When I had to drive a car,
right,
the owner would say, "Go get a clean uniform on," and I drove a
Which
67.
gas station were you working at then?
Belpre, Mobile.
Okay.
So I got another story for you. This is a car thief story.
A car thief, man.
So we all hung out we'd go to the clubs and we'd all hang out in the parking lot, all the guys with the cars. So one of our buddies, he was a known car thief in the area. So we're all coming back home, right? We're following, everybody's following each other. And this car pulls up next to him and is talking trash. And they're flicking him off, calling him all kind of names. So he just says, okay. So the next light, he turns far left and turns hard right into the side of it. Boom.
Oh, no.
He backs up. He hits him again. Boom.
Ooh.
And he's tearing this guy's car up. And this guy don't realize that he's in a stolen car. He don't care. So he comes around. The guy's getting out of the car. He knocks the door off. Boom.
Oh.
He tore his car up, man. He hit every side of the car. And we're just like, you shouldn't have messed with him, dude. He's a car thief. Yeah, he tore that car up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but when it ain't yours, who cares?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
They mess with the wrong dude.
Drive it like you stole it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I came.
More ways than one on that one. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he tore that car up, boy.
That's when I watch these car chase series with the cops and that, and then the reporters are going, and he's doing this, he's turning this, and that. He doesn't care. It's not his car.
Yeah.
He's going to jail. He might as well tear it up.
Listen, I got
The
caught.
company's going to pay the same amount out no matter if the car's recovered or if the car's destroyed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got caught up
Have
a
you
couple
guys
days
seen
ago. I got caught up a couple days
Have you
ago.
guys seen the?
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Lewis.
So I'm on YouTube, right? And you know how stuff pops up. And it was a car chase, a truck. And they're chasing him in California. And they chased him for like 45 minutes. So I'm sitting here watching this video because I got to see what happens, man. Because he's in a pickup truck. He wrecks that. They got him, and he gets out of the car or the truck and gets in a van. And then they got him all trapped. He bumps him out of the way. He takes off in the van. Then they shoot the tires out or whatever. He gets out of that, runs through a house, and the helicopter's watching it, right? He runs through a house, so now these guys are beating him up coming out of the other side of the house. He gets in their truck, takes off.
Oh, Jesus.
He stole like 4 cars, and the cops had him like so many times, and he got away.
Wow.
But they end up shooting him up at a gas station.
Well, I'll do it.
Did you guys watch live PD?
No matter what. So
Wow. Do you guys watch live PD on Friday and Saturday night?
No.
They had over in Virginia.
They took it off the air. I didn't know.
No, it's back on. Live PD's back on.
It's been a while.
They
Since
had
I've
a guy.
seen it.
They had in Virginia, in Spotsylvania over here. They had a guy in a BMW, and he was playing around with this other guy and went to take off. Well, there was a cop behind him, and they had like over 15, 20-minute chase where this guy had getting up to over 100 miles an hour, 110, and the cop chased him down. And it was pretty interesting. And of course, the funny part on the other end of that is, on our Mako page, somebody said, "Hey, whose customer was this?" And it comes up about on the backside of whose customer it was and everything. It's kind of funny, but.
So
that was a hell of a chase.
That was the guy Brian was chasing at Home Depot.
Yeah.
He's been waiting for him outside Harbor Freight.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Wrong store.
My wife has a simple solution for car chases. Get the helicopter up there with armament, with a machine gun, go right in front and just stitch the motor completely.
That'll do it.
And, hey, you got them.
Don't worry. One day they'll just flick a switch and turn it off. Don't worry.
I was going to say, with today's
they can do that on some of them.
Sure they can.
They can just zap you and shut you down right then and there.
A little bit of EMF. That's it.
Well,
Done.
they make units. I used to repo for a company, a car, buy here, pay here, and they put a system in that he could cut your car off from the computer.
Yeah.
Yep. And then he'll tell me exactly where it is, and I'll just go pick it up.
The rental car companies can do that too, because I got a phone call. Apparently, whatever rental car company it was I rented from, you weren't supposed to go any further west than the Mississippi River.
Oh.
And I was going to Tulsa, so I got
close.
notified as soon as I crossed the Mississippi River what was going on and all this, because they were ready to shut the car down until I responded to them.
Yeah.
Wow.
They were concerned I was stealing the car. So I guess if you get right to the Mexico border or something, they will shut you down and not let you get into Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, every day.
They actually passed something about that because they couldn't. They can't turn it off while you're driving. It has to be parked, and then they turn it off so that it can't start, because they don't want, there was a whole issue about
killing you.
Turning it off in the middle of the parkway and getting ran over or whatever.
Right.
But we used to install those on certain cars.
Did you?
Turning off, and that's it's very similar to the blow and go, when you have an alcohol, you had to blow in to register or whatever. Of course, today,
I thought that was the girl in the Camaro.
Blow and go.
Yeah, I was like, Man, you gotta learn to watch what you say, Brian.
Yeah.
So much for being a tough guy on that.
I know some of those alcohol monitoring blow and go systems do not like being in an auto shop that has certain chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah.
That it'll register if you're you got your car in a shop for brake work, and it has one of those blow devices installed, and you use brake clean on that car, nobody's starting it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Because it senses the air and the brake clean, and it registers as alcohol.
Sure.
Yeah. You have to technically when you take the way it's gotten today or what it is like today, if you take a car into the shop, you have to tell them that you're taking it in. Because I mean, those things, because some of them have cameras on them, actually have cameras to make sure that the right person's blowing into the car to get the car started.
Oh, you mean I can't get drunk at the bar and then go and ask the bartender to start my car for me?
Well, you'd be surprised. I had one customer, he was upset because they changed, because he had a can of air. He would blow into it in the car, and then of course they got him on video, and he had some issue, a lot of explaining to do, and
just messing up his beer run.
Yeah, I know. And it's bad enough when they, as a tool guy, you get asked a lot of strange things. Hey, can you come over here and start my car for me? I don't think so, dude.
Nah, I've had more to drink than you.
Yeah, well. So,
yeah, my wife doesn't like the idea of new cars because there's just too much shit in there that people can turn off automatically.
It's just too much electronic shit.
Yeah.
There's too much Big Brother involved.
Oh, yes.
They can monitor you. I mean, even when the early North Star systems or whatever they were called came out, that was truly Big Brother monitoring every move.
I spent too many years working for Big Brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now, I've spent more years running from them. I'm finally going, I guess I need to comply. I'll leave my locator on. Then they don't go looking for me if they actually know where I am.
That's true. Unless they find you in a control tower in an airport.
Yeah. With a 30.
Do you guys remember the video of a Corvette that was stolen where it was here in Arizona? It happened up in Phoenix. This is quite a few years ago, early 2000s, I think. But the vet, he got boxed in and he tried to go on the shoulder and he ended up spinning out in the desert. And the driver ended up spinning on his butt. And as the car spun out, I think it hit a mesquite tree or something like that. And the driver was spinning on his butt. The highway patrol tackled his butt. They walked him to the back of the police car. But yeah, it was actually that video was actually used in the TV show NCIS.
Oh yeah.
It was like a black Corvette, wasn't it?
I think it was black or gray. I think it was a C4. But yeah, they used it. Anthony Donoso, the character in NCIS, it was supposedly where they used the clip. He gets a call that they found his vet, and then they turn on the news and they show the video of it running right before it crashes. One. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Because I remember that episode.
But yeah, I remember on the news here when it happened, and they were showing it. The guy. It just obliterated the car, and the guy's spinning on his butt. And they come walking out with him out of the dust cloud.
That's like the dude at the the racetrack in that Nomad or whatever, the 55, and came apart and he got thrown out the front windshield. I mean, it wrecks, bounces off the wall and wrecks, and he doesn't have his belt on, and of course he gets thrown out of the front of the window. Same thing. A car was just like destroyed, and he's up walking around, and imagine how in the world he survived that.
Yeah.
Some guys get lucky.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to get a 55 Nomad destroyed. Come on now.
Yeah.
It's just another old car.
They got one in the driveway if you want to practice.
Practice.
We got to turn that one into a gasser.
Yeah, that's what it needs.
Hey guys, I'm gonna jump ship.
And I'm going to get out of here too. Get up early in the morning. So
You gotta get up and shovel that driveway, right?
Stay warm up there in the north.
We're going to get a cold snap over the weekend. It's going to be really cold.
Yeah, the temperature dropped I can't believe how much the temperature dropped already.
Yeah, we're supposed to be around 5
right now.
tonight.
Tomorrow's going to be cold.
We're down to 34 right now. It's really coming.
Yeah, it's going to be really colder. It's already cold.
Yeah.
Well, they're talking about hitting 70, 75 on Monday. So
nice.
We have 14.
So maybe I can actually get the Model A done for Tulsa. And then right after Tulsa, I head up to St. Louis for the Wrenching for the Future build.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Yeah, it's all this is. I mean, this weekend is Grand National Roaster Show. So, or the Grand whatever it is they call it out in California now. And then Starbird Show is also the same time as the Dallas show. And a couple of the people are like, well, why aren't you going to Dallas? It's closer. I'm like, because that show sucks. So I'm going to Tulsa where the real fun is. And then right after that, like I said, Wrenching for the Future, and then is Detroit. So any of you guys that are up that direction, anyone going to Detroit?
We are an hour and 50 minutes away from there. Yep, we take cars every year.
Okay.
We got three good ones this year. Well, every year, but yeah, we have
what's
cool
going,
ones.
Justin?
The 66 Chevelle SS that we restored, finished up last fall is going. We have the 94 Sierra LS swapped that we just did a bunch of work on, and then the Hemi swapped PT Cruiser.
Oh, yeah.
The Hemi swap PT Cruiser.
That's a cool one, yeah.
It doesn't suck.
No.
The PT Cruiser was actually a really, really cool car when it came out.
Yeah.
And I got an interesting story I'll tell you all another day on the PT Cruiser and how it kind of became reality, because the PT Cruiser was never supposed to be a reality vehicle. If you look at a PT Cruiser, and you are gonna say, "Holy shit, he was right." Look at the Dodge Neon, and look at the Jeep Cherokee. And what happens when you combine a Jeep Cherokee and a Dodge Neon?
I guess you get a PT Cruiser.
It's basically what you get is a PT Cruiser.
Okay.
And the reason that we have a PT Cruiser is a gentleman that I know who was at the time working for Kelsey Hayes Braking Division, doing anti-lock brakes for the Dodge Neon, and its research and development stage before the Dodge Neon was ever a vehicle. They needed test vehicles, mules, and they put together the front suspension from the Neons onto these Cherokees to do some of their research and development with. And somebody in the design department saw what the engineers had done, and it is apparently one of the fastest fast-tracked vehicles from rendering to production in all time.
Well, my daughter's got a PT Cruiser, and what I love about those is I can get in and out of them without any trouble.
There you go.
They're designed to get in and out of. They're comfortable. At least
Yes.
they were to me.
I like the looks of them better than the HHRs, the Chevy HHRs?
The HHRs, they came in a little later. The PT Cruisers, I believe, came out first.
Yeah.
And the PT Cruiser, it's almost a sexy automobile for a modern day car. It kind of looks, retro 40 Ford-ish.
Well, that's the thing, the retro touch, yeah. See, but the HHR also had that retro panel wagon look, so
yes,
it did. But to me, it looks kind of it looks too PT Cruiser to me had more aesthetic appeal as far as it wasn't just like stuffed in, where the HHR to me is like you took something and smashed it down and kind of tried to go retro.
Exactly. It's like they took a full-size van and a S10 Blazer and went.
Yeah.
So, but the PT Cruiser is actually a fairly sexy automobile. And then again, the Dodge Neon, that was just a entry-level consumer, buy it cheap, give them out entry-level cars that we can sell to anybody and everybody that needs a car.
And I will say, but those Neons had a huge following on the race circuit. They
still do.
Designed a class around that car.
Kind of like the Mazda Miata.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
Yeah.
All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night.
Okay, Paul.
Have a good night.
Okay, Paul. Take care. Be
Keep
safe.
that monitor on, brother.
Watch for my Facebook page on any updates over the next couple weeks, and definitely watch for live videos coming up at the Starbird event.
All right.
Are you
Don't
going
forget to
Detroit,
salt
Paul?
the driveway.
Yeah, I will be at the Starbird event. I'll be there all from the start to the finish.
You're gonna be at Detroit.
I don't know if I'm going to make it to Detroit or not. Again, I'm leaving Starbird and I'm headed to St. Louis for the Wrenching for the Future build, and then Detroit is basically right at the end there. So
Right.
St. Louis to Detroit is about 6 hours, give or take.
Maybe, yeah, 8, maybe 10.
Okay, we'll go with 8 to 10. So to get from St. Louis over to Detroit, then I still got to make it all the way back to Texas.
Right.
Well, we'll just give you a 2-liter bottle instead of a 20-ounce.
Right.
Don't worry. You'll be good.
2-liter
Gotta be
bottle,
on for Amtrak.
that only keep me good for a couple hours, you know. I've had
We'll give you a smaller straw. Don't worry, God. Look a little harder on it. That's all.
Put one of those aluminum tanks that the syrup comes in. Just put it in the back seat.
There you go.
All right, guys, enjoy. Talk to you
All right,
later.
Paul. Good night.
Later.
All right.
Have a good night.
Oh yes.
Hey, I'll be right. I'll be right back, guys. I'm not signing out. I just got to go run and help my wife with the shake and bake.
Oh,
Pork chops.
shake and bake. All right.
That's what you guys call it now,
Yeah.
huh? Nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he'll be back in 30 seconds. We'll put the timer on. Don't worry, Coach. We'll time you. We'll time you up there, bud. It's all right.
Yeah.
So Brian, I was playing with the Matco 140 welder today,
Yeah.
and I gave a real good look to the feed wheel, and it's using a 23 thousandths wire. It was in the groove, and I actually pulled the cone off, pulled the tip off, and I was pulling that trigger on. I had it on slow. I put it all the way up to fast. It was spitting wire out like crazy.
Uh-huh.
Then put it back together and did it slow and fast. And I said, okay, it works. So then I started doing some welding with it. Even on, I think I had the speed on 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And it bound up again. So it's probably a bad liner, I guess. Now, Mike was telling me when he changed it last, he just changed the whole assembly, the whole outer and inner with the gun, the whole bit as a unit.
Yeah.
Is that still available?
I have to.
Not available, right?
Well, I don't know. I have to. I have to double check on the part number, and I'll have to call because a lot of the stuff says discontinued. But there's a guy that I deal with down in Southern Maryland. I usually text him or email him, and he usually can find some parts for the older stuff.
About how old do you think that machine is?
It's fairly old.
I see it's dual voltage. It's 140 and 90 amp, which is kind of cool. I like it. I was going to think about asking if you want to sell it.
Yeah.
So what should I offer him for if he wants to sell it?
I'm not very good at that. The problem, the problem is you could buy today. You could buy for $500, you could buy something with the technology of so much better than the costs.
Are you talking like a MOSFET welder, one of the suitcase welders? Yeah.
And like I said, that's the only problem that I have. Like I said, it's funny because I bought a newer welder, a MIG, I guess 2 years ago or whatever, and I still go to my old Snap-on one that's prehistoric. I bought it in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? It's probably the same time period. And it's just because I'm comfortable with that welder.
I wonder if you have the same. Well, I have a Snap-on welder that my brother bought, and it was definitely in the.
Is it the one that like a TV console thing that is up off of it's got a black base, and then it had a body that two legs that held it up, and then it was a big square.
No, it's on a regular cart. It's on a regular style cart. Let me see if I can find.
I can't remember actually. If my welder's out in the shed, I don't have it in the garage.
Let me see if I can.
I stuck it out there, and like I said, I have like I said, actually, I shouldn't really say anything, but I think this year I might buy a TIG.
Yeah.
But the only problem is the guy that was teaching me, he moved out of the area, and I know a little bit, but I know it's just something that you got to play with.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't have any time. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but I really miss I love welding.
Yeah, me too.
And TIG's a great way to do it too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of just doing it.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something I've found, especially today, between a lot of stainless steel, but a lot of aluminum stuff. And I'm like I said, I really like doing it. So I don't know. Hopefully, I hate to say this. This is like the first time. Usually when I go to my tool show, there's always something I buy for for the shop or for myself, and I was trying to think this year, and I was like, dude, I don't even know what to buy. I mean,
here you go, Brian.
Yeah, no, mine's it's a little different than that. That's pretty old there.
It is. Now let me see if I can toggle.
Yeah.
Did the picture change? You see the side?
Yeah.
All right, so that's the side. I never had the side panel for it, and this is the back, made in Denmark.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the Snap-on welder.
Yeah. Mine was a little newer than that, but I wish I don't have a Snap-on catalog here. It's out in the truck. I can't remember the number, but like I said, I finally put it out. I put it out in the shed, and so that when I need it, I would force myself to use my new one.
Yeah.
And I still find myself rolling it through the house into the garage to use the Snap-on.
Like I said, they had 3 welders at the shop. I needed to use it on Saturday, and I went right for the Miller because that Miller they have just made me a better welder immediately. And that wasn't working. Then I fire up the macro. That was good. He had another one, like a smaller one. There was something wrong with that. None of them would work. So I'm like, what the hell is going on in this? Because they're body guys. So they just like break something and go to the next one. No one fixes anything.
Did you check the tension? When the wires going through the wheels there.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but you got to have it. If you have too much tension,
there's a tag inside the welder right there that says that.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you what the tension, how much tension to
I
put.
can't remember because I
you
know
have a locking. It's the locking lever, and you can turn the thumb wheel. But
yeah, I think it's something like, God, I can't remember. I don't know if I can find it because I had a guy that kept binding. You know, it would work and then bind up like you were saying.
right.
And that tension was so tight on that I don't know if it's like I know it's not drastic. I don't know if it's some kind of a heat buildup thing where the tension between it got so tight that you had to I loosened it up like 2 or 3 turns and then he never had another problem. I mean,
I was thinking if it was really the liner, because I feed it all the way out. Why wouldn't it bunch up at the end? Why is it bunching it up at the back end? It should be at the front end. But
I don't know. I mean, like I said, usually, like I said, if you can, like I said, if you, like right now, if you cut the wire inside that tube and you can slide it smoothly inside there, that's not a problem.
I did. I pulled, because that's what I did. When it bunched up, I cut it at the feed and pulled it back through the sleeve. Just pulled it all the way out.
Yeah, because you'll feel it right away.
Yeah.
Unless you're running like the tip, like if you're running a wrong size tip. I've had guys do that too. They put the wrong tip in.
The tip was old. I couldn't read anything on it, and the wire did feed through it.
Yeah, and like I said, find a new tip. That's one, but I had one. I had a snap-on one that I had that the relay would cut in and out for the feed reel.
Yeah.
There was actually a relay, and it would cut in and out. And I actually called that guy down in Southern Maryland. What was that guy? Weld something. And he told me, he sent me a relay because the relay would heat up and it would cut the motor out for a minute. It was like as soon as the relay heated up, it cut out, and then it would cool down and run again. So that split second would, bind up.
Right.
And like I said, that's the only thing I can really think of offhand without kind of playing around with it.
Man, look at the tension again. I mean, like I said, they had the label that mentioned the tension, but they didn't give you any ballpark of how to set it. I'm like, well, you're telling me to check it and make sure it's right, but you're not telling me what's right. So what am I supposed to do here? So, and the other thing is, I thought the spool of wire. When I looked in the back of the welder, someone had mounted the spool, and then just laying in the bin there was the spring and like a top collar. I'm like, wait a minute, I think that goes on top of the spool, if I remembered correctly. So I reinstalled that and tightened it on. But because the tightness of that spool can affect the feed also.
Right.
So I wish you had the manual for it. Actually, I'll look it up, see if I can find it online.
Well, that's what I was. That was at WFW 140.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Let me see if I have it in the in my parts breakdown, and I'll email it to you.
All right. Yeah, because he told me he bought that thing, years ago. And I was thinking, hey, you know what? This welder sucks. I'll buy it from you. Cheap. And I'll fix it. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's even. It's not even. I got to go into the old book.
So I'm going to look at a 75 Corvette tomorrow.
Really?
Nice car. It's all original. Convertible.
This the one sitting down from your house?
No, this is up in Queens.
The ones I like. This is
like I said, my buddy at the shop, he bought another C3. He bought a 93.
Better not have
My
it.
buddy at the UD.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I would
So
like
we'll bring that in this weekend. But
to eat.
there's another one we're going to go look at. It's a nice blue convertible, real nice original car.
They're
So-
calling you the Corvette guy.
Yeah, right. Apparently so. I don't know why.
Let's see here.
Well, I'm hoping this next year to do some work to that 78 Pontiac Phoenix.
Yes.
Wow.
Couldn't get my words out.
What are you going to do to that thing?
Put new seats in it.
New seats. All right, so that's pretty easy. Okay.
Yeah, well, these seats are solid back and don't adjust, and they're damned uncomfortable.
You look like a
Oh.
Mexican gangster with that thing with the
Vato.
pato.
Okay. As bucket seats or a bench in it?
Buckets.
So what are you gonna put in there? What are you gonna swap in?
Buckets.
Out of what? Anything in particular?
Oh, we think
I
we're
have
just
no idea. I was hoping to find some seats at SEMA, but I didn't see anybody other than fancy ass racing seats. So
Yeah. There's a couple companies that are making seats that fit, into older cars, but the Phoenix is not considered like a classic car yet.
no, it's not.
So
One of my body guys down there in town, he's just get whatever seats you like. I'll make them fit.
yeah, maybe get something out of like a Firebird or something, something of the same era.
probably could.
Yeah,
but
it's
not,
just an adjustable back.
You won't. Yeah, well, they do, because you won't find the bigger cars didn't have buckets, and a lot of them had split bench. But yeah, the F bodies had bucket seats.
We like the car, and it's not a quote unquote collector's car because it's 4-door. But
Right.
I'm old. I like 4 doors. It's
Sure.
easier to get in and out of.
Yeah, sure.
2 doors are for you young guys.
I love
Oh.
my floor.
Nothing wrong with a 4-door.
That's it.
Yeah.
And since it's just a cruiser, we don't care about how fast it is. Although
Yes, we do.
my lead-footed honey back there,
Well, that's a 4-cylinder, right?
no, it's a V8.
It's an 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's probably like a 305, I guess.
Yep.
It's exactly what it is. It's 305.
Okay.
Gets down the freeway quite well. You can
That's
cruise
enough
at 80
engine
all
for
day
that.
long.
That's plenty of engine for that car.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's funny. Nobody notices the other cars, but anytime we drive that bright yellow Pontiac, we're always getting people.
Well, they noticed the thing and the Ford, but yeah,
Yeah, well, the thing especially.
and the Ford.
Yeah. Well, the yellow helps too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to take it by the body shop and have some area. Well, get him to touch up around the window or the windshield.
I don't know why.
Why?
Because we have two. Oh, the Pontiac or the thing?
Pontiac.
Oh, I want to have him buff up the paint too.
Yes. Get the paint cuffed. God,
All nice and shiny again.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Sorry, Ray, no manual available.
Oh, really? Wow. Not even in the archives, huh? Jeez.
No, I got tons of, like I said, there's a good or a fair amount of part numbers. Like I said, I just have to make sure find somebody double check to make sure the stuff's available.
Well, that's it. I'm not buying it now. If I can't get a manual, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, well, like I said,
I don't think he was selling it anyway. So
because actually, you know what? I don't know what that one is. It's a smaller version of, I think it's that was a 140, right?
it was a switchable 140 or 90.
Yeah, I think I have to look. I think I have this. I think it's a smaller version of that welder. I want to know if it's got the same gear drive. I mean, same motor in it.
Yeah.
Because this one worked. The only problem was the guy needed a new handle,
a gun, yeah,
a new trigger, a new gun,
right.
And I ordered one, and of course, people being impatient. This was a while back ago. This is even pre-COVID. I mean, this was, and I think it finally showed up, but the guy ended up buying another welder, and he said I could have it if I want it.
Oh, wow.
And I ended up, I think I know it's sitting in my storage bin, but
you're talking the MiGs, right?
It was a MiG, yeah.
So more important than that, what's on your list for Expo?
On Expo?
Yeah, what's your list?
Man, I don't know, Ray. I'll be really, really honest.
Most guys go in loaded for bear, man. What do you?
Well, a lot of guys are having the same feelings as I am.
Yeah.
Is that, dude? I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I'm getting stuff now that I ordered last year at Expo.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's coming in. I know. I tell you one thing. I would not want to be a supplier standing there at Expo, because so many people are so fired up about, why is it taking X amount of time, or,
Well, I'm sure the mother company is good. So now when you get the stuff from last year, they just give you a big, deep price cut, right?
I wish.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, did I tell you guys about a buddy of mine that just got his Porsche?
Yeah. You were talking about him last week.
Yeah. I mean, it's like insane.
Yeah, yeah. And I said I knew the guy had the same thing, and he canceled the order and he bought a Maserati.
Yeah.
Screw
Well,
this.
I've been hearing that the shipping out of China sucks.
Oh, yeah.
They're really having a lot of problems getting things out of China.
Yeah.
So, even shipping it around the United States is getting to be a pain in the neck. And I don't know what the hell's going on with it. Come on, guys.
Yeah, no. Well, I know that they, and like I said, between the shipping and whatever new fungus is floating around in the air that we can't get or whatever, and locked. I don't know, dude. It's just crazy. But I want to feel real. I mean, like I said, I'm trying really hard because I know it's not really their fault, but dude, when it takes, actually, I forgot to call back. I mean, I have a toolbox coming that's a replacement for under warranty, and it's been 7 months.
Damn,
That's ridiculous.
And it just really puts us all in a bad situation, dude. And this guy's pissed off. He's been waiting for his replacement, and it's been 7 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
It's hard for me to go in and say, hey, you want to buy a toolbox? Oh, by the way, it's X, come on. So I have a really hard time, or like I said, I don't know, like I said, if I go in and buy $20,000 worth of Milwaukee stuff and can't get any of it, it doesn't do me any good.
When you get one of those long neck fast ratchets, you let me know, because they're on back order everywhere.
Yeah.
And now I'm liking that sander, man. I'm telling you, I got to use, I used that little half-inch wide. You probably got one at the shop. Those little sanders. They use them to grind spot welds off.
Like the belt deal?
Yeah.
I actually just got one from the Matco guy.
Brian was showing me the battery-powered one.
Did you get a battery, or is it
Mine's
air?
Mine's
Air?
air.
Yeah, I
Well,
use the air.
so-
I tell you, the first thing I did is took a nice little half moon out of my finger with it. It was on the side of the belt. I was like, oh, that was good.
Yeah,
You go
where
with
is it, Ray?
That Silver Eagle. I love it.
Oh.
I had a broken. There was actually the last Yahoo that had the Corvette had busted off the rear bolt on the thermostat housing, and he took this stud that you see there's some weld on it. He actually welded it onto the broken bolt. There you go. That's it. And I was trying to weld a nut onto that, and that's why I was doing all the stuff with the welders. And that didn't work. So I said, well, now my only choice is to try and flatten out that lump and drill it, which is what I did. Unbelievably, it worked. But that little sander, man, knocked that thing right down. Right down. I said, oh, yeah, I've been looking at them for a while and said I could find some different uses for this thing.
Did you get a 13 or 18, Justin?
Gosh, what is it? I don't remember.
What does that refer to, Brian? The length?
The belt size.
Yeah, the length of the.
Yeah. The most common is the 18.
Yeah.
The 13's a much smaller.
That's probably what I got. Is the 18.
18.
I
yeah.
love the thing though. Man, that.
What are you typically using it for? What's your?
Hey, quite a bit of fabric, grinding welds on sheet metal in places that I can't get my angle grinder on. I've got one of them nice little 90-degree flat disc grinders, but you can't get those everywhere. So I did that scoop for that Bronco hood this week, and yeah, use
I was
that
gonna
grinding.
say, I typically get involved with making fabbing up a lot of stupid little aluminum things, brackets and stuff. And I usually just take a flat file to deburr and maybe dress the corner. And so I'm thinking for that, it'd be a no-brainer,
Yeah, I've used that one quite a bit. I've used it for cleaning out the brake caliper, where the pads
Where
go.
The pads mount. Yes.
I've used it's the right side. I mean, it's like I said, when you take the shims out, and I'm
always using those little Harbor Freight wire brushes in there.
Yeah, and that works really good. I've used it on a handful of stuff. I really didn't think I would use it, but it's been pretty good. The air, you gotta. I'm curious on was it actually a Silver Eagle?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know. I don't know. Maybe. Because I thought the air ones were discontinued. It might have been just a 13-inch belt.
Maybe the guy had one on a truck.
Maybe. Yeah, he had to order it for me, but I mean, luckily it didn't take 6 months to come in.
Yeah.
Oh, they might have done. I think the 13. Some of the guys like the smaller belt to get in tighter areas. And I think the 13 was maybe the one discontinued. Because that's not a very common. The 13 is not a very common size belt, and but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's one of those things. The only thing you gotta look at it tomorrow. Do you have the rubber wheel on it or the steel wheel? Because they made an improvement or update on that with a rubber wheel.
I think it's got the rubber wheel.
And
belt, right?
Huh?
That'll drive. That's the belt.
Yeah, it's up here. On this end here.
Yeah.
And you wanna. The only thing that you really want to do, or watch out for, is God. How do you? Well, you got to watch when you're pushing on it, because that'll wipe that bearing out in that wheel. That's the biggest problem I have with guys, because they won't let the tool do the work. they're pushing on it, and it wipes the bearing. It's a little bearing in there, and they wipe that thing out.
Well, I'll tell you, to take down the weld that was on that stud, and the weld, is harder than the metal. With the belt that was on that thing, that purple belt, I literally hit that thing maybe just 3 or 4 quick times, and it was flat.
Yeah.
There was no drama at all.
Yeah, this one has a steel wheel on it. This is an older version.
That's the Rolling Stones version.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things will eat. I actually found it because I think it's about 36 grit that they come with.
Yeah.
And we had some 60s at the shop, and so I threw one on there. But yeah, those things will eat. There's no need to jam it into something.
Yeah. That's usually, like I said, my some of my guys, they definitely work harder than the tool. Pushing on it. So do you guys use what product do you guys use? Like 3M? Is that 3M? That's like it was like a purple. It's like is that purple or green? Purple. Yeah, that's like 36 grit or 24 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, then I got the one too because I got the 1/2 inch. I know we had like 2 different ones, but we have a couple other guys with the same size belts at the shop on their machines, so that way we can all just order the same thing.
Yeah. Do you guys use sticky or Velcro on your DA stuff? Do you know offhand?
I think a lot of the DA stuff's Velcro.
That seems to be the new thing, and
that's all I use at the body shop where I'm at. That's all I use is the
Velcro.
Yeah, that's everybody's using that. That's it.
Yeah,
I think that's what the body shop guys are using.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I have a few guys because I noticed like the other day I sold a DA and the guy came out and said I needed the other pad, and I said, "What do you mean you need the other pad?" I said, "You guys are running Velcro," and he goes, "No, sticky." And I said, "Well, it should have a sticky, but they've changed over to Velcro on the DA." And now I had to order a sticky pad instead of Velcro. I was just curious if you guys are doing the same.
So only as a show like this can do, I got to ask, Brian, do you guys have Duke's mustard, Duke's mayonnaise now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That just came to the Lidl stores up here. My wife just showed it to me in the flyer. I'm like, she goes, "Isn't this the stuff that everybody gets down south?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll ask tonight."
Yep.
Is it worth checking into, or is it?
It's good. It's different from Hellman's. I mean, there's a different taste.
Okay,
I make my potato salad with Duke.
How is it different? Can you describe it?
I can't. It's just the taste. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not really good at that part. I just can tell you there's a difference.
Well, wait a minute. You know it tastes different, and you can say it tastes different. So how come you can't say how it tastes different?
Yeah, what kind of cooking show is this?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Isaac. Thank you.
We're not going to get on the Food Network with this kind of stuff, guys. Come on.
No, we're not. Fine, chef. We're done, man. They just
or more like an aluminum chef.
You're
aluminum chef. We'll be the nickel chef.
Yeah, it's just got a different taste. I don't.
I already got that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I really can't explain it, but it's just
sweeter, more vinegary.
I don't know. It just
all right. I'll have to buy a damn bottle of the crap and find out for myself.
I do that too, though. We last year we went to a place when we were down at Autorama that had wings, and they are some of the best wings we've ever had. And I really can't tell you why.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just there's a different taste.
In something like that, like a wing, there's a lot of stuff that can go into a coating and a battering. So there's stuff in there you may not know about. And sometimes the way flavors interact, you really like, but you don't know. Even if they told you what it was, you'd say, "Wow, really?"
I have no clue. These are good.
Right.
Yeah.
Hey, all I know is food prices now. Let me tell you, now we're 11 o'clock. We can do this. The other day, my wife and I are out. We had to go running around to some stores and let's get lunch. Okay. So she was, there's an Italian place I wanted to go to for dinner. We were going to go there to check it out for lunch. And then I said, you know what? But south of the border, the Mexican place is over here. I said, yeah. And she goes, well, maybe we should just go to Taco Bell. Because this way we'll get the Mexican, but we'll save some money. It won't be as expensive. And I said, yeah, okay. I said, I could do Taco Bell. And then she says, you know what? Let's go to south of the border. She goes, we haven't been out to lunch. I'm like, all right, so we go to south of the border. So I'm looking at the menu, and they serve like single tacos, burritos, or enchiladas, and it was like $12.50 a piece. I'm like, what? So they had a combo platter. It was a taco, a burrito, and an enchilada with rice and refried beans. $25. So I'm like, all right. So we each get one of those, and I get a margarita. She gets a glass of wine. The bill comes out to like 89. It was $99, $99.06 by the time we were out the door for lunch. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
maybe you should go back to Taco Bell.
I'm telling you something. It was a damn good lunch. I will. I'll find it here. Where the hell did it go?
When we head for south of the border, we just go 90 miles.
Yeah, right.
Really south of the border.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're not going to save much at Taco Bell. That place gets expensive too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
When I was stationed in San Antonio, the joke used to be the best Mexican restaurants are the ones that when the Border Patrol comes in the door, half of the restaurant disappears.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So there's
now
the
you
place.
know you get Mexican food.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a decent amount of food, and it was really good.
That looked like a $90 meal to you, dear.
No.
Yeah.
Now,
It looks good.
It was very good. But now here's the receipt. Look at that. $82.55, $16 tip, $99.06 by the time we're out the door for lunch.
Wow.
Right?
Well, I today, of course, it was messed up, but we have a Mexican. It's called. I don't know if you guys have them around your area. District Taco.
No.
And it was funny because this was like early 2000. It was one of these TV reality shows on ABC. It was like Battle of the Food Network. I mean, food trucks or whatever.
Yeah.
And this District Taco was a food truck.
Uh-huh.
And if you won it was a TV. It was like 4-part series on, and they had different channel. If you won, you got a chance, not a chance, but you got to go have a restaurant, to be, what's it called? Having a Taco Bell or whatever, chain, you get this. That was the winning thing. And this taco place, this taco District Taco won. And we just finally got one in my area. Really good. And I went in today and I walked out just myself. It was $25.
Yeah.
And that was for lunch. And I was like, this is insane.
What do we pay on average for our meal?
So let me tell you this. Last night,
When it comes out,
is it last night? That was Wednesday. Or was it Tuesday? Well, the other night when I went with Mike, bought this Corvette, and he says, come on, we'll go to the diner. And now we're in Queens. So if you guys don't know Queens, Brooklyn, New York, this is like, now you're in like the Goomba part of New York. And the diners, the diners even out where I am are really good, but Queens is like known for the diners. So, all right, I didn't want to eat. It was already like 9:30. I didn't want to eat too heavy, so he orders a BLT with turkey bacon. I say, you know what? I'll have a BLT too. He got his with fries. I got mine with onion rings. And we each got a soda. We get done. The guy brings the bill. He looks over me. He goes, "What do you think this cost?" And he had that look on his face. I'm like, "Oh God!" I just went through this with south of the border yesterday. I was like, $40. BLTs we're talking, right? No, it ended up being $59.
Holy smokes.
I was like, what the hell do we do? Break a window on the way in here? Like, what? Food has gotten ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, we've got a little Mexican restaurant we go to all the time down here because my default food is Mexican. Don't ask me why.
No, I'll default to Mexican or Chinese any day of the week.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it, exactly. And we get
chimichangas last time.
Yeah, I had we had a couple of
We
chimichangas
get out of there about $35.
and 2 drinks, about $35.
Yeah.
And the chimichangas are fucking huge.
Well, I think that Cadillac margarita I had was about $26.
What's the name of the place?
What's that?
You remember the name of the place?
Which one?
The one we go to all the time.
El Sur, S-U-R.
El Sura, S-U-R.
That's here in Tucson?
Yep.
Yeah. Just not very far.
22nd and Craycroft, more or less.
Okay.
Behind Harbor Freight.
Yeah, I know the area.
Behind Harbor Freight.
I've never been there. Have you been to Have you been to Minidito?
No.
That's on 4th and 29th.
Oh, 4th? That's downtown. Nope.
It's south of downtown.
We don't do anything with downtown if we can help it.
I did that once. Nope.
Downtown Leroy Brown. So, Brian, now I got to transition back because now Isaac mentioned Harbor Freight. Did you get a chance to watch any of those videos? The video I sent you where the guys are taking the drill driver tools and they're putting an anvil in them and making impact guns out of them. And on Torque Test channel, these things are blowing everything away. And now the last one I sent you, I couldn't believe it. They took the brand new Hercules from Harbor Freight without putting an anvil in it, used a 1/4-inch adapter for a socket, and the thing pulled like 500 foot-pounds of torque.
Yep.
What the hell is going on?
Stuff's crazy.
Jesus.
They're better than you think sometimes.
Ridiculous.
They actually, on a lot of the impact drivers, a lot of the stuff that people are putting on them will say no warranty if on impact driver. Those impact drivers are crazy.
Well, I was wondering, first of all, how they're putting they're obviously doing it, how they adapting the anvil onto just a regular driver tool. I guess it's the whole front head that gets changed.
I guess I haven't noticed. I mean, most guys just buy the adapter and stick it right in. They have 1/2 inch, 3/8 or a 1/2 inch.
But the collet fits a 1/4 inch, and then you step it up. Like
we actually have. I don't have one here. I got it on the truck, but I have 3/8 drive and 1/2 inch with the 1/4 inch collar that slides in, and then that's all you got to do is you put the socket on.
I mean, they did break the socket. They did break the adapter, but they had already gone from 150 to 200 to 253 to 400 foot-pounds. They broke it on a 500 foot-pound run. So that thing, and it was the Hercules adapter. It wasn't, it wasn't like, a Milwaukee adapter.
I ask guys when they say, I want a screw gun, they'll say I want an impact screw gun. And I said, do you want a screw gun or an impact screw gun? And they say, why? Because half the time when I sell them an impact impact gun, the first time they go to take a air filter out, they blow, especially on an older car with the plastic. They blow the plastic all apart. And they said, man, this thing destroyed this thing. And I'm like, dude, that's the problem with the impact. I mean,
right.
I mean, it's
I just couldn't believe. I just can't believe the foot-pounds of power that they're getting out of those little tools.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if they're going to last, but You know, and then even so, even in like in the Harbor Freight line, I mean the Hercules line, like Jesus, who would have ever guessed that?
Yep, and like I said, the problem it depends on the tool. I mean, it depends, but some of them, you know, like I said, don't last very long.
Yeah.
And some guys never really notice it. You know, they actually think it works better because it doesn't, you know, it's kind of like they can go faster with less power now because it's kind of worn down a little bit instead of blowing shit apart. But yeah, some of that, I mean, that stuff is all crazy. And like I said,
I'm really liking that Torque Test channel because they test everything.
Yeah.
They test everything. And it's one of the ones that comes up my feed all the time now. So I'm always watching something right now.
I have. Ram wrenches.
Yeah, I've been that chick rebuilding carburetors. I've been watching, man. I tell you, man, that's
you know, I'll tell you, in this month's Hemmings, the Hemmings magazine, they did a whole article on her.
Really?
And what she did is her father got her into it, and she's now recruited like 3 of her girlfriends that rebuild them with her. So yeah, I'm reaching out to her to see if I can get her on the show.
Yeah, that's
maybe she teach me something.
I mean, that's she. I don't know if you saw her newest thing, but she's been pinstriping.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
And so now she's painting the butterflies in the carburetor. It's pretty pretty interesting.
Nice.
And but I was surprised. Like I said, I know they showed she was on an episode with All Girls Garage and with Stacey Davis. I'm really surprised I never saw it. I usually watch those.
Yeah.
But again, seeing a younger crowd. She's a 17-year-old girl, and she's rebuilding Edelbrock carburetor. She started it's been like 6 or 7 months since she went viral, and she's got like the orders coming in for her to rebuild all these carburetors. It's pretty interesting.
And then she said she wanted like her first car. She wanted something. She wanted a convertible with a stick. Well, so far the bought her a Jeep. He says, "Going to get her something like with a 4-cylinder and a stick. This way she's safe."
Yeah, she's building something though, because she unwrapped her tunnel ram, and she got a trying to think of the name, but the air catcher. She just got this new air catcher. She was all talking about a 17-year-old girl squealing. She was all excited about her new air catcher. I was like, damn.
Wow.
So
I wish she'd have been around when I, back in 76 or 77, had to rebuild well, I didn't have to rebuild. I just a Rochester 4-barrel from the pickup truck I had, because we'd driven down to Florida from Texas, pulled into my ex-wife's father's chicken place, and turned the truck off. It wasn't running too good. So I popped the hood and looked at it. And I told her to get out of the truck because the whole intake valley, had gasoline in it, and it was bubbling.
Oh,
wow.
So it's like, oh shit.
Your favorite episode of Emergencies on, they're in the bottom of the plane looking for the luggage.
Right. looking for the med box.
But I took that thing apart. I figured it was a float valve, because that's what it was acting like. I wasn't cutting the fuel off. I took it apart, put it back together. Don't know shit about it. No instructions. Don't know nothing. Had a couple of parts left over. And I drove that son of a bitch for 3 more years before we traded it in.
Nice.
That's funny.
I wonder what the hell the parts did that I left off.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Not much.
Not much is right.
Oh boy, not much. But I decided no more Rochester rebuilding for me. Somebody else can do it.
Yeah, I
I
started
haven't
doing
redone
quadrigets when I was in my
years.
teens. And I'll have one apart on the bench, and someone will come in and say, "My God, you know where all that goes?" I'll say, "You know what? I could probably do it blindfolded. I've had them apart so many times. Yeah, it's not a problem."
Well, like I said, my mentor, I would watch him, and he'd take his little hammer out and tappy on that carburetor, and it would smooth out and run like run excellent. And of course, me, luck of the Irish, I looked at that. Oh yeah, I know how to fix that. I grab a hammer, tappy, and crack that thing, and fuel coming all over the place. And man, he'll come back out there and say, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. You hit it with a hammer. Why can't I hit it with a hammer?"
Right.
Oh God.
Hey, speaking of Papa Squirrel brought up with the Mexican restaurants, the Border Patrol. Did you guys happen to see my post? What was it, yesterday?
Oh yeah, when the one was on your you had it yeah.
Yeah.
The Border Patrol was right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I put on there when you look over your shoulder and realize you got La Migra next to you, and the scared look you get.
That's when you frighten yourself to look a little wider, right?
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing was, because I didn't have Wednesdays, we don't have sports, and I was working on my Blazer. I drove my wife to work, and my son followed me over to drop it off to her, and on the way back, he was driving, and he goes, "Oh, watch out, Dad, there's Border Patrol next to us." I said, "Shut up," and I looked over. I went, "Oh, they are there."
Yeah.
And I said, I gotta take a selfie. I gotta post this.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's good.
In fact, I think it was my sister that commented. She said, "State your citizenship," because that's that whole story I said coming across the border where they almost yanked me out of the truck because I kept saying "the Arizona."
Yeah.
The Arizona.
I've learned just to shut my mouth with things like that and don't say the smart ass things I'm thinking about. We were coming from a SCA event in California, and the little park that we were in butts up next to Mexico. Late at night, you'll see people going through the park with a pack on their back, heading across the border. Wave at them and go. We got our box truck that we done converted into a toy hauler and all that other shit. So here we are coming up to the border checkpoint. And I told Debbie, I said, I bet they're going to stop us because, man, this is a great vehicle for hauling illegals in. Huge amount of space. So a guy jumps on the truck and running boards, and he's talking to us. He said, "Hey, would you pull over here? We'd like to try our new scanner on you."
He actually asked us if we'd mind.
Doing that.
We're like, "Can we watch?"
So now this is about 10 o'clock at night. We pull over. They bring this van out. This arm comes out of it, and they scan the truck with it. And they knew what we had in there. Because I got my sawed-off pump shotgun in the closet.
And
they won't show us the pictures, and they're talking to us. And look at this guy. I said, "How long have you had it?" "We just got it. We're testing it out to see how it works."
Yeah.
So we got some funny looks when we left there.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Because there were people that had been watching us like, what the hell are they pulled over for? Because my son's in Border Patrol, I don't give a shit. But it was funny. But my wife made another comment. Luckily, she made it after we had gotten away from the station. She said, "Now, this is the way it's supposed to be. The white boys are out in the heat and that doing all the work. All the Mexicans are sitting under the shade." because all the Border Patrol were under the shade, and we had all white dudes checking everything around the truck.
That's funny.
Debbie said, what she figured is, hey, Manuel, we got it now. Bring them out.
Yeah.
We try to not do those smart ass statements around authority.
Yeah, that's a good idea, generally speaking.
Yeah. Hey, look, the Air Force taught me a lot of things. And one thing it taught me is if you've got something funny to say, but it ain't funny, just shut up and wait till you're somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
No. But we feel this would be a perfect truck for that.
Not that we're going to.
But I'm never going to do that because I like my freedom.
Yes.
Yeah. Very true.
And I know better than to be a smart ass. It's hard to do at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody's got the same sense of humor.
Yeah.
At the
Especially
same
when
Oh,
they're
they
sitting out
don't.
in the heat all day.
Yes, if I'd been out in the heat all day, I'd have no humor anyway.
Hey, I pay your salary, don't you? Don't I pay your salary? Yeah, that's always a good one.
Can I have a raise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I have a raise? Yeah.
Sure.
I'm surprised no one's ever asked to look inside this box.
Yeah.
What do you got in there? Bed?
Here. We've had a lot of them stand up there talking to us about converting it over, and then they're like, "Oh, well, Travis backing up. I better let you go."
Yeah, we had one agent standing talking to us about the truck, and then he looked and said, "I better let you go because there was a huge fucking
They're
line of
starting
people."
to back up.
You're the one that's calling us in the jam.
Yes.
Yep, we sure are.
But it wasn't my fault.
Not my fault, officer. Well, guys, I'm gonna get out of here because
You got dinner.
I got dinner waiting on me, and
All right.
I'm gonna get up early tomorrow morning too and go
Shopping. Gonna go
shopping. She'll shop my ass off. She already has.
All right.
Hey, real quick, Papa Squirrel.
Yes.
You guys might want to try La Paria Suiza. It's on Speedway in Craycroft. It's actually on Speedway. It's east of Craycroft.
Hang on a second. I
What
gotta
was the second word?
repeat that again, please.
The name of the place is La Paria Suiza.
Paria?
Yeah, Parrilla.
Ah, okay, got it. Got it.
And then Suiza, Suiza. Okay.
Yep, got that.
That's just east of Craycroft on Speedway. It's on the south side of the road.
What does that translate to in English?
I couldn't tell you. My Spanish is very broken.
Something green? No. Green sauce. That's it. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay.
There's also it's a little further north there by Prince and Campbell area. There's a place called Guadalajara Grill. They're pretty good too.
Guadalajara.
Yeah, so the show we'll go a little farther.
You're going to start making me hungry, boys. It's getting that time.
Yes, it
Everybody
is.
else with dietary issues, I can go wherever the hell I want.
Yeah, we have to be careful because one of our friends has horrible dietary issues. Dairy, walnuts, anything that has to do with the nightshade family, tomatoes, all types of shit.
Really? Man, how can you live like that?
And we just let her choose where to go because Debbie and I can eat anything.
Yeah.
And I've proven it. I've eaten
Proven it.
someplace and people have gotten sick, and I'm going, why?
Yeah.
Hey, I hope it doesn't go away. Okay, guys, we'll see you later, like next
All right,
week. I
Papa
hope.
Squirrel. Catch you later.
Grill.
All right,
Oh,
my wife just said
yeah.
Maria's Grill.
Ah.
So
Guadalajara's Grill, La Paria Suiza. Let me see. I had it up.
No, Paria means grill.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my mom will probably call me after the show to spank me on my lack of Spanish.
Right.
my wife says she will never know my ancestry because I can't remember half of the things and I can't pronounce the other half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we don't worry.
Yeah.
Later on, guys.
All right.
Bye.
So,
Take
All
care.
right, take
Be
care.
safe.
Bye.
so I'll tell you guys a little story. I went to see a hand specialist Monday morning because I got trigger finger and these two fingers, and this one really, really hurts, and arthritis in the thumb. And so the guy says, all right, well, the problem is with these two fingers, the trigger finger, there's a, you got the sleeve and the tendon that goes through it. And, it's like a parking brake cable. And what you get is scar tissue built up over it if you've had an injury or there's other things that can cause it. And he goes, I can go in, just make an incision on both of those and take the scar tissue out, stitch you up, bandage up for like 13 days, you're good. He goes, the arthritis you're kind of stuck with. But he says, or I could do like give you cortisone shots. I'm like, all right, well, I've had them before on my shoulder, my hand, I've had them. I said, okay, well, I need something right now. I'm not ready for the surgery today. So how about cortisone shots? So this doctor learned a little bit about me. He's going to give them to me in the pads of the fingers here. And he says, okay, I'm going to spray this stuff on you first. It's going to be really cold. It'll numb you. He says, I want you to tell me when it's so cold, it hurts. So I said, okay. So he's sitting there and spraying. And he's looking at me. He says, you feel that? Is it cold? I'm like, yeah, it's cold. He goes, it hurt yet? I'm like, no. I said, it kind of feels like I got a blast from a Freon line, but it doesn't hurt. I'm like, I'm not frozen. He goes, all right, well, that's enough. And he puts the needle in and he injects it. And he does the other one. Same thing. I was like, it was cold, yeah. But I said, Doc, you got to realize something. I said, I don't know if I tell you this, but I have a pretty high threshold to pain. I said, I hate it when they ask me, what's your pain number with the smiley faces? Because, I've told them like 10 or I've told them at other times I said, like it's a 5 or a 4. And they go, well, it's a 4. How come you're here? That's not bad. And I said, no, you don't understand. Like my 4, what I put up with and endure would be your 12. I put up with a lot. I endure it. So I just don't block it. So he did these two and he says, okay, well, when I do your thumb, he goes, you could probably take this shot without having the spray. I'm like, yeah, go for it. So he goes into the thumb, puts in the needle, and he had to push it in, get it into the deep part and slowly inject it. And he's like, he looks at me, he stopped him, he looks at me, he goes, you feeling that? I'm like, yeah, I feel it. He goes, damn, you do have a high threshold of pain. I'm like, yeah. I said, just finish up, dude. Let's go. Well, needless to say, I've had single cortisone shots. I've never had 2 or 3 before. I was buzzing like a cheap TV for 2 days. It was like I was on speed. That was the day we had the Mexican food. I got home that night, watching TV. I wasn't tired. I got to go to bed. It was like 12:30. I lay down. Radio's on for 70 minutes. That's off. Then I'm laying there in bed wide awake. I'm like, all right, don't open your eyes. Don't look at the clock because then you'll see what time it is. Just, I'm thinking about the Corvette. I'm thinking about, all this stuff's going through my head. I'm making lists in my head of things I got to do. I finally said, you know what? It's got to be about 3 o'clock in the morning. I know it. I got to get up. I got to get up. And as soon as I sit up, I look at the clock. It was 3:09. I'm like, son of a bitch. Head to the kitchen, turn the TV on. The cat wakes up. What the hell are you doing awake, right? So I get the cereal. I'm pouring the cereal in the milk. I'm eating cereal. I'm reading my Dukes of Hazzard, my Tom Sarmento Dukes of Hazzard book. My wife comes in. She goes, what are you doing? I'm like, I couldn't sleep. I said, I couldn't. I didn't have a chance of sleeping. I said, I'll have some cereal. And, and then I'm eating cheese. I'm eating my pepper jack cheese. And I'm raiding the refrigerator now, like 4:30 in the morning. I was like, and I'm still not tired.
Yeah.
So I finally passed out for a couple hours. And then yesterday, all day, I was still buzzing. And thankfully, it ended. But I did find out one thing. It'll constipate you, too, because it slowed my system down. I'm like, damn, this stuff was like no good for nothing. I guess it's a good painkiller. But so my hand feels okay, though. It still hurt. That's my week so far. And I'm probably going to have the surgery done. I'll have him surgery me. Crazy.
It's hard to sleep when your mind's going a million miles a minute.
And I do this. Like I'll wake up and like I'll hear a song on the radio, and I'll say, "Oh, I got to use that song on the show." And usually what I do is I reach over into the nightstand, I grab this pad of paper. I don't even turn the light on, and I just scribble out, and I try and decipher it in the morning because I know I'm not going to remember it.
Yeah.
I had about 7 because I wanted to bring things with me to the UD to look at this car the other night. So I had in my head making lists of stuff, and then I even said, "Oh, I'm never going to remember all this stuff that I got to do." And I did. I actually remembered all of it. I guess because I was so awake. But
yeah, that's usually the problem I have. Is if my mind's going a million miles a minute, and I'm thinking of anything and everything, got to do that. The next day, I'm going, "What was it I was thinking about?"
Right.
I almost fry my mind out of it.
I was telling my wife this a little while ago, and I finally started doing it. I have it upstairs. I usually wear a flannel shirt during the day, and I had to get one of those just little notebooks. I stuck it. Brian, we talked about this. It's like I put that notebook in my pocket. That's my memory now. I got a pen in my other pocket. I take the notebook out, flip it, and I make myself a note. And like, there it is. Now I have no excuse. I'll remember.
Yeah, I try.
The name of a song or something I wanted to look up on the internet or a tool or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, I try. Sometimes I'm really good at it, and sometimes, man, I can really mess that up.
Yeah, no, I know.
What's worse is when you make notes and you're trying to make a quick note and you use keywords.
Oh,
later on,
dude.
you look at it and you're like, "What the hell was I trying to say?"
I know when you can't decipher your own thoughts. I know, happens all the time.
At one time, like you get into your own version of shorthand,
right?
And I told myself, I can't tell you how many times you need to make your own dictionary. You know what I'm saying? So that you have and there's been a few things over the years that I've used and I still use that I know, when I'm writing. But like I said, I really wish.
What are you talking? You mean like specific words or like phrases that you use?
Well, phrases or words, like don't ask me why. Like I said, don't ask me why, but like, a switch, I'll have SWX.
Okay.
And I know that's a switch, and that was all from back in the day, like when I would trace out a wiring diagram.
Yeah.
And I would have that, I would put SWX 6 on that would be pin 6 on the switch, and like I said, and there was just other things like that some of that stuff didn't even really make sense, but that's what
it made sense to do. Yeah.
But and I had a whole bunch more, but then like I said, if I didn't use it all the time, it was like, God, I really wish, because I go back and find stuff, especially like when I went to classes or training, like that was one of them. Because I always hate it where the guy says, "Okay, write this down," and he's talking 200 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, and we start with, and he's already said it. I was like, dude, I didn't catch any of that, dude. And so you started blocking or writing it down.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just funny. If I would have made my own ledger or my own dictionary on that.
Right. I thought of doing this. I'm going back 25 years. I would just think of things in my head. There was things running through my head, like just raised thoughts on life. Like I just had a thought that was like, this is how I see this.
Uh-huh.
And I thought of it like, I should write this down because someday, like my kids might want to read that. And some of it's pretty good advice, I thought. And I thought, but how am I going to do that? And it's kind of like you got to do it like an encyclopedia or like a yellow book, because you got to be able to look it up by topic, like multiple ways. You need a database because you could find it a couple different ways. And needless to say, I never did it. I never did. And my younger daughter said to me once, it was about a year ago, we're out having dinner. And we were talking about something, I don't know, like conversation. I was talking about cars and something with science and something with, I don't know, with medical. Whatever. And my daughter says, Dad, you got to write all this stuff down. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, you got so much stuff in your head that I don't know anything about. You got to write this down, because it's like legacy. I said, it's funny. I was thinking about that many years ago, making that like encyclopedia. I said, it's not stuff that nobody else doesn't know. I mean, it's, you don't know it. I said, but I do. I said, you're right. I was trying to think of that, but it's such a monumental, like, how do you have the contents of your brain in a book? You can't.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I remember, I think I told you when my brother had his bike accident, he was officially brain dead in the hospital, but alive. And I remember standing there looking at him and saying, wow, this guy was a Porsche tech and a top Porsche tech, and thinking like, the information in that brain, if it could be taken out, it's so valuable. Like if I could plug it into my head, and just like even get half of it, like how much better off I would be. Yeah. And I'm like, but you can't. Yeah. You just can't. It's gone. It's gone. It's what a shame. And I think about John, the Chassis John, same thing. All the stuff that guy knew, stuff that he shared with us and he would share with other people, it's gone. It's just gone. Ether.
Yeah. So, crazy.
Yeah. So that's how I raise thoughts on life. It sucks.
I don't think I told you guys, and I had I guess it was last week. I had a shop owner, unfortunately, put a gun to his head.
Oh no, you didn't tell us. Yeah.
And actually, I have. I guess he flinched. And he was in stable but critical,
right?
And he's come around a lot more, and he's moving and not talking, but he's So my wishes go out. But when you talk about, like we were just saying about somebody like I said, I've known the guy for 20 years.
Yeah.
A customer, and like I said, he's more than a customer. It's a friend.
Right.
And like I said, it's just dumbfounding that like you said, in a flash, that's all that's gone.
Well, I saw that too with my buddy Joe after he had his stroke. Now, I brought him to the shop with me on Saturday. He wanted to get out and he wanted to play, get back. He wants to get back into doing diagnostics. I mean, this guy was one of the number one diagnostic techs. In fact, he worked for Standard Motors. But before that, he started as a helpline tech. Yeah. Then they graduated him to be like the tech that the techs would ask the questions to. He didn't even deal with the customers anymore. He dealt with the other on the tech line. He was the senior guy, and he was GM trained. Back to the 80s. He was at Bay Chevrolet, that place Jim said he bought his Monte Carlo. That's where Joe worked. So he knows this stuff like the back of it. Plus, he knows all the foreign stuff. He does everything. And after the stroke, obviously, he doesn't do anything. So he's been telling me now. I've seen his progress, and he has made some good progress. And he said, "Yeah, I want to get back into diagnosing." He says, "But I know I'm not 100%." See, he has the presence of mind to know it. He goes, "And I know that I'm physically can't go climbing in and out of the cars like I used to," because he did, of course, what he called driver's seat diagnostics. He'd go to the shop, get in the driver's seat, plug the scanner in, and boom. He didn't want the hood open. Just let me look at the scanner. It was all scan data for him.
Yeah.
And then he would tell the other guys, change this, change that, or do this, and they would do the work. So put him on that Corvette on Saturday, and he brought his old BDM, the standard BDM scanner. And you look at those things. It's like, I borrowed that when I worked on the Grand National. It's like watching a Pong game. Compared to, but it's like the display is so slow. It's like, holy shit. But he was going through line by line, reading the data. And when I talked about it on Sunday, he's like, yeah, we got a coolant temp sensor problem. He says, it's showing me minus 39 degrees C. He goes, I don't think it's that cold. Yeah. I'm like, no. He goes, there's got to be a problem. He goes, so he opens the mat and he goes right to the factory service manual. Boom. Opens it right to the page. Here's the diagram for the component locator. That's all there. And he shows me, he goes, here it is. It's in the front of the motor. See if you can find it. So I looked down and I found through the grease just a weather pack connector that the weather pack was gone. And there were 2 terminals. He goes, yeah, that's it. I said, I can't see the sensor though, because everything was the same color. I did eventually find it. So he told me, see if you got 5 volts on one of the pins. I'm like, yep, yellow pin, I got 5 volts. He goes, okay, here's our reference. Ground it. And I grounded it and he watched the scan. So he knew all the procedures, and he wanted to get that fixed first. And I could see Mike was standing there like, come on, let's just get this car started, because I put the new IAC valve in, and that's what we wanted to get in and calibrate. So I finally just turned to Joe and said, okay, look, I said, Joe, can we just kind of skip the formalities here a little bit and get the damn thing running and worry about the other stuff later? He's like, oh yeah, okay. He was just so intent on fixing everything. I was like, no, forget that. Let's just get it running. And so yeah, to see his brain working again is really, I mean, ever since he had the stroke, I'd send him emails and texts and say, hey Joe, just a stupid problem like component location or just a very general diagnostic thing, just to keep his gears going. And he has it. He didn't lose it.
And that probably helped him too.
I hope
sending
so.
him stuff, and there's a lot of stuff I look up and read, and they say that the older you get, if you do brain teasers, it's healthy for you. It's healthy for your mind.
I do 3 crossword puzzles a day for whatever the hell it's worth, and because they say that's good too.
Yeah, it's like mental exercise, and but
and here's Joe working on the Corvette.
Wow.
Let's see. Where is the? Yep, there is with the big BDM. It's the old BDM scanner. Say hello.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's your sander.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
That's the hole I had to make. You drill in between the freaking throttle cables and everything. It was such a pain in the ass.
I walked into a shop and they had what's that dude up your way, Ray? South Bay Motors?
South Bay fuel injectors. Yeah, he's right by the shop.
Yeah. Well, no. The guy that has a YouTube channel.
Oh, which guy?
Upstate New York.
Oh, East Main Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's way up. He's in West.
Yeah, he was doing a Corvette. He was replacing the fuel injections on a Corvette.
Right.
On a C4.
So that's a good place to stick an EGR valve, huh?
Yeah, that's a great place.
Beautiful. So Brian, you never did answer me. Boop.
Yeah,
Justin, those are the brake line wrenches.
Yep, obsolete. Yep. Delete it. No more.
I don't know. That's the.
That's why I'm on the Matco side. They're deleted. I can't order them.
Yeah, these was, and that's snap-on lettering from 1970, like 78 or 9. But
we had a 4-piece set with it had some like that, and that's obsolete. 90- I was waiting when I get to our tool show. I wanted to go over to the Vim.
Yeah,
I think Vim makes something very similar to something like that.
These are American because they but if I could get like a 10 and a 12, and of course when you want to make toast.
Yep, good old toaster oven.
I had to pull that down off my thing in the garage. What else do we got here? Anything good?
There we go.
And then when things get hairy, you got to call the cops.
This is why I heat up my bagel to melt the cream cheese on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it. Let's see. What else happened last month? Anything good? Look at this. I'll show you a little taste of what hides up at that UD. It's one of Dougie's Doom buggies.
Yeah.
This over here, this is the corner of the C4 that Mike just bought, the black one. That's the car.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
is that a 93 or 94?
It's a 93, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you know what?
I like the rear tail light area, the rear end part of that where the tail lights are, is where they rounded it out.
Yeah.
It's not just such a sharp drop as
Right.
the earlier C4s.
This is a Grand Prix. Nice GTO next to it too.
I see a Trans Am with it next to
Yeah, there's another 74. This 74's got a really hot motor in it, side pipe car. This GTO is like pristine. These are all in this one garage.
Wow.
This guy's got the 57 Chevy. That El Camino's got a 454 in it. Now, he did the body replacement panels and the paint himself. So Mike, who's a body guy, was commenting to Doug, he's like, who did the body work and paint? And Doug said, this guy did it himself. He says, man, he could do it for a living because the guy's that good.
Wow.
Here's a car for Justin.
There we go.
Yep.
69
nice.
Caddy.
I like big cars.
Yeah,
Which
that's
mobster
nice.
did that belong to?
I don't know. Here's
That is a nice
74
caddy.
again. Yeah. And there's the side of that. There's the money shot of the El Camino.
Nice.
Yeah.
And remember a couple of weeks ago we had the guy on from Lewis had him on. He was all the motorcycle stuff down in Florida. And we were talking about the KZs. This is an old KZ motor that was in we were talking about Orient Express. I was talking about actually I was talking with the guy from Summit about it, Orient Express. It's my friend Christian who sent me this. He used to work for Orient Express. These were the race bikes they used to run back in the 70s and 80s. Big lay down bikes. Yeah.
You're talking about, I remember the guy you're talking about, the one that broke the speed record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Freeport is right next. That's the town next to me. That's right where I'm at. So, yeah, good stuff.
I mean, it's like a kid in a candy store going in there.
It is, and that's only part of it. I mean, it was 3 floors, and now it's less. But there's more. There's so much more. That was just in that one little area we were at. It's all indoors, and it's cool. It's pretty cool.
That's kind of like in the sense of, I mean, obviously it's not as much, but like Jay Leno's garage, that would be, I would love to go tour that, but then I wouldn't want to leave.
Right.
I mean, one of everything.
You know, I was going to tell this story last week, and I forgot. I never got a chance. I was going to do it this Sunday. That accident that Jay just had on the motorcycle.
Yeah.
He got clotheslined.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing happened to me a couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Except I got away with it. Jay was on a bare bike, so he cut through down a side street, cut through a parking lot, and someone strung a cable up that didn't have any flags on it, and it caught him right. He was lucky; it caught him across the top of the chest. So, and I could tell what happened by his injuries because his knees. He cracked both his kneecaps in his hands. What happened was it clotheslined him a lot. Obviously, luckily not at the throat, but at the chest. So he let go and flew off, and then he must have twisted as he went off the back of the bike and landed on his knees. I was doing the same thing. I was coming into the radio station, and what it is 2 parking lots. And at the time, they decided they were going to make one of them a student lot, one was going to be a faculty lot. So to block them off, they put these they're like bicycle racks that they just chained together. And then they found out that they had to take one of them out so people could walk through. So I rolled in there on a Sunday, and I just started going around it. But now I pull into the one lot, and I see that there was the open space. I'm like, okay, I'm riding a motorcycle. I'll go right through there. That's not a problem. Luckily, I'm only going about 10 miles an hour. As I get near that open space, I saw the cable that was stretched with no flags on it. And luckily, since my bike has a full fairing and a windshield on it, the cable hit the nose of the fairing above the headlight, rode up over the windshield, and I ducked, and it went right over my head.
Ooh.
And I went right under it. It like forced it over me. See, like Leno caught it with his body. My bike deflected it. And I was like, you know what? It could have been the same thing. And if I was going 40 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour, if it got stuck between the windshield and the fairing, I would have been dead. It would have just it would have been dead stop. So I can imagine what he felt like when he saw that and couldn't stop in time. It was like, oh shit! And the bike kept going. That was like a panhead. That was like a.
Wasn't it an Indian?
Oh, it could have been an Indian, but whatever it was. I'm sure it was an expensive bike, so the bike is probably trashed.
Well, the crazy thing I heard, I was listening to the Adam Carolla show, and they were talking about it, and I guess he smelt gas, and that's why he was pulling off the road.
Oh, okay.
Now coming off of that recent incident, of course he smells gas. He really wants to make sure everything's kosher.
Sure. Absolutely.
And that's why he was pulling off, and that's just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, total bad luck. At that point, Jay, how old is he now? Is he 70?
He's in his 70s, yeah.
You got to start thinking, like, what am I doing? Should I still be doing what I'm doing? Because I know, like, my buddy at the shop, Mike, he last year he was working on a ladder, fell off the ladder, and he broke his leg, a compound fracture. He's a couple of years younger than me. But even now, like, he'll say, I gotta slow my roll. I gotta stop doing some of the shit I was doing. Maybe it's just time, to not stop altogether, but just, look, I hit my head on a lift 3 times today. So I'm like, what the hell am I doing? It was always on the same points. So you start thinking of, nobody wants to admit it, but, maybe at some point, your reflexes do slow down, or you're not seeing the same way, or whatever it is, So for survival's sake, and, none of us ever want to admit it, of course.
Says he's 72.
72.
He's honestly, in my opinion, he's a young looking 72.
We all are. I'll tell you, I tell this to my friends all the time. I say, you know what? Just look at what our parents look like, or their parents. Mm-hmm. Just watch TV. Leave it to me. Watch Emergency. The guy's on the ground with a heart attack, and he's got, a full head of white hair, white chest hair, and they're reporting it's a 45-year-old man. I'm like, the guy looks like he's 65 years old, for Christ's sake. But in the 70s, that's what people look like. Yeah. We definitely have surpassed the generation before us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better living through medicine. I don't know.
I think my personal, because I was thinking about this not too long ago, because I'll be 46. Gosh, what, next week? Valentine's Day?
Nice.
Is that a week away?
All right.
Anyways, but I was thinking back to some pictures of my grandmother, and again, I'm like, people looked older back, like you just said.
Yes.
And I'm like, is it a matter of they embrace being old so it aged them quicker? Or is it in that we're still just between technology? Maybe it is some of the food, but I actually think the food's gotten worse for us.
I was just going to say, we always argue that the food was better back then.
Yeah.
Less preservatives. So that doesn't play to that argument. And I caught myself on that one too.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So I don't know if it's a state of mind. Now, my grandmother, again.
So maybe the preservatives are good.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's preserving us.
Well, see, my grandmother, she lived to be 107. This is my nana. She lived to be 107. And now as she got older, like in her 90s and stuff, she looked pretty good for her age, and she was healthy, and she kept mobile. She did stuff. Yeah. So I think that's also part of it. How long do you keep mobile, and how much do you give up too soon? Or slow down too much, maybe. But then also with the food, she made refried beans with lard.
Yeah.
And I'm, and they say, hey, you shouldn't eat this, shouldn't eat that. Forget that. My Nana lived to 107.
Right.
I'll use lard. Thank you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. And when you talk about the state of mind, I don't mind being older. I like having the knowledge that I've earned, because I like sharing it with people. I like being able to share what I know, but that's just me. Yeah, I wish I was 20 or 30 years younger again, roll back the clock a little bit. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? Yeah.
I think part of it too is being young at heart.
Well, that's part of it.
I mean, I'm still. I mean, my mom laughs when we talk about Hot Wheels. She'll be like, "You guys have your you see, what did she call it the other day? Romper room hour."
Oh, Brian, that's the thing I want to say. I got a friend, my friend Jeff. He's the glass guy. He's done auto glass and house glass for years, and he's still doing it. And he calls me the other day, and he's a big model builder, and he builds models that don't exist. So he took like the cab of a 55 Chevy truck and like a flatbed and then made, and joins them. And he builds all sorts of crazy hybrid stuff. And he also buys a lot of Hot Wheels and Johnny Lightnings and all. And there's a guy by him he's selling them to. So I told him about you, Brian. I said, yeah, my buddy Brian, the same thing. I said, he knows all about the collectors. And he started rattling off, all the same stuff, the same nomenclature. Yeah, about the treasure hunts.
Treasure hunts.
Yeah. I was like, Jeff, you know all of that stuff? Oh, yeah, man, you got to know all that. You got to go in the store. Yeah, you got to be fast. You got to go. I'm like, I got to put you in touch with Brian. The two of you guys will make the world fall off its axis. It's like, we'll throw in Isaac there, too.
I walked in yesterday, and it's a white lightning.
Oh, look at that. Now I was in the supermarket.
That's a Johnny Lightning. See, the white
and
lightning.
There was a Matchbox car that had these yellow wheels. I'm like, hey, maybe that's a special car. But I don't think it was. I think they all.
Yeah, well, if you're looking at Hot Wheels, usually what you could, like I said, if let me see if I can find one here.
And my wife says to me, why do you keep looking at those every week and you put it down? She goes, you never find what you're looking for. I said, because I don't know what I'm looking for.
See, like this one here, if you look at the picture, the car's going to match the picture. So that's why it's not this particular. Now, if this one was a gold color, it's a super treasure hunt.
Oh, yeah, the regular cars will match the picture is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So if you saw like that yellow wheel type thing.
But the wheels in the picture were black.
Yeah.
Then it would be
actually, it was really, I don't know, where did it go?
But he was talking too, like he sells this guy a couple $100 worth of cars a week. And he's saying he's only making like a buck or $2 on the cars. It's like it's all small trade.
Yeah.
Like,
the funny
work.
Actually, it was really funny. I walked in. It was Saturday. I think it was Saturday. I had left a little earlier. I was like, oh yeah, I want to get into Walmart before anybody else, and I turned the corner and there's a guy going, he's already got a handful of cars and I was like, damn it. Yeah. And I was like, I said, he's like, oh yeah, man, I found this and this and that. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. And so I was like, damn it. So the funny part was so I went ahead and looked just to see if there was anything that, anything else. And where it is, I can't find it. But so I started looking, and of course I'm kind of cleaning up, and he left the Super's treasure hunt.
Oh, nice.
It's like a $75 car. You know what I'm saying?
You see, so you never say, oh, damn, until you go and you look.
Right. So then the funny part was I went that the actually the Copo Camaro, this one, or this one right here, this is a regular.
Yeah.
But the Super Treasure Hunt is the one that's golden color. Yeah. If I find it here, I'll show you. But so I was cleaning up, putting stuff, and I was like, holy shit, the guy left he left the Super Treasure Hunt.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I walked into Target, and there's a guy already there. And I was like, man, I'm like one step behind, you know. I was like, it's the way it goes sometimes, you know.
Yeah, but you made out on the first stop.
Yeah, so I'm like, he goes through and he has a handful of stuff, and I was like, oh, that's awesome, blah blah blah, you know, small talk, and so he leaves. And I was getting ready to leave, and I was just like, let me just double check. So I start going through, and he left the regular treasure hunt, which was a BMW motorcycle.
I just saw a BMW motorcycle.
Yeah, it's a blue one. It's blue.
It was it was a K90 was the model.
Yeah.
The K9, and I left it in the box. I didn't buy it.
Yeah, no. It's blue, the blue one.
Blue and white.
Yeah. Huh?
Blue, I thought the one I saw was white and it had some blue on it, but it was predominantly white.
Yeah, it's
with blue on it. It's a K9T is what they call it.
Yeah, that's actually still out in the tool truck.
I had it in my hands.
Yeah, I saw it the other day.
That's the treasure hunt.
Let it go.
And
what did I tell my wife? See what you did? You made me put that back. Okay, there's a couple of cool. What's that wagon, Isaac? That's cool.
That's
the Nissan Maxima.
Wow.
Wagon.
Nice.
I didn't realize I got this one, and then I saw this one about 2 weeks later, and I didn't realize I had the top one.
Yeah.
And I got home and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I think I already got that one.
You gotta have it in both colors.
A different color, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the bottom's an RX-7. The FD model.
Uh-huh.
Nice. That's the RX-7 I really like.
Yeah,
that one in like the 8990.
Oh, so here's the Super Treasure Hunt right here.
Okay, so the wheels are different, right?
Yeah, the wheels, they're real rubber wheels, and they're, like I said, they're different. And then it's Spectre Flame. It's a gold instead of the yellow.
Wow.
But man, I was like, dude, I can't believe. And it was actually kind of funny. Today, I walked through, and it was wiped out, man. The place, it would look like a bomb had gone off. And I was like,
before you got there or after you got there?
Huh?
Before you got there or after you got there? It looked
like
before.
I mean, the place. I mean, somebody had really gone through the racks pretty hard, and I gotta go. It's out in the tool truck. I gotta bring them in. But it was so I'm walking around. And I was like, there's nothing here. It's been hit pretty hard. And I turned the corner, and on the end cap, I noticed somebody had stuck some in the back. They hit them, and it was the new Target Reds. And it had the Tesla, the Nissan. I mean, the Nissan. And
I don't understand. If a guy is going to sit there and go through the trouble of hiding them, why does he just freaking take it?
I know. That's I say the same.
Like, what do you got to do? Go out and get the money for them? What are you doing?
Yeah, but see,
look, your wife for $10.
So, like I said, the let me see if I get the glare. See the difference?
I can see the difference. Yeah, I can see the difference. Yeah, it's gold and that's yellow. Yeah, I see it. All right.
So I was like, dude, if you're going to hide them,
La Bamba, baby.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love those.
Real nice.
couple years ago, 4 or 5 years back, that was a super treasure hunt.
So yeah, speaking of that, now my buddy Doug that just sold this Corvette, he says, yeah, now I got the itch for another car. He's got 30 cars, right? Real cars. But now he's looking for a 69 Camaro and he wants an SSRS, like in black. I said, oh, how about a ZL1? You know, might as well just go right to the top. He goes, yeah, that works.
Might as well.
So in high school, before I got my 82, a friend of mine that I went to school with, I guess he wasn't getting along with his stepmother too well. And so his dad was shipping him off to Arkansas to live with his mom. And he had a 69 Camaro that, God, I guess it had a 350 motor in it, but it wasn't running. It needed work. And that the deal was he was going to work on it, and that was going to be his car.
Yeah.
And I looked into buying it, and I got scared off because of the rust on the floor pan and all that.
Yeah.
Little did I know within the next, that was 94, 95. Little did I know within the next 5 to 10 years, you'd have the Classic Industries and
right.
Yeah. I could have had a 69 Camaro.
Well, my buddy Joe does have, he's got an 82. It's at the UD. He's got an 82 pace car.
Oh, that's nice.
The problem is it's got the ceasefire injection motor in it, but it does have, it is the Hypo 305 with a 5-speed.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a full set. He's got the fiberglass headlight covers for it. He bought a full set of brand new decals when he was working at the Chevy dealer, because the car would need to have those, put back on. It needs a little refit. But I don't think he's really going to be driving. And I'm always thinking, like, if he's going to get rid of that car, I could be in line to actually pick it up.
Yeah.
I just don't know what I would do with it. It's got, it's a T-top car.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, my 82 Camaro was a 4-speed manual, and my Firebird was a 5-speed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having. I think if I had the opportunity, I'd take either one. But if I had the opportunity, I think I wouldn't mind having another Camaro, having like maybe a late 80s right before the airbags, and then putting an LS with a T56 in it.
Right.
And then looking into independent rear suspension.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think it's Heights that does. There's a couple companies out there, but I think Heights is the one that does it.
They do. But I was showing Mike today with this Corvette. I said, this is what when Chris had his C4, I used to bust his balls and say, the C4 is a great car. I said it's great for one thing, a powertrain and a suspension transplant into a hot rod. That's what you should do with it, like put it in a street rod. But I'm showing him today, like even that rear end center section, guys will take that out. They were taking that out, and they were making longer track arms and all, and putting that in 55 Chevys.
Mm-hmm.
So I got the donor car for you.
Yeah, well, actually, I'd like to put that rear end in my S10 Blazer.
There you go. Just let's set up transport, and it's ready to go, man. It's already outside. It's waiting for a new home.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. All right, time to go eat cheese, put out the garbage, play with the cat, see if I go to sleep. Justin, you've been too quiet. You got to take us out tonight.
Too quiet. All right. Well, I can do that. So, as always, remember you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram and all the other social media platforms. But don't follow us home because we're going to go get a snack.
And you guys
I'm not sharing.
And you guys got to see, we finally found a way to record our Zoom meetings, and we put the Zoom clip up on the Facebook page, Motormouth Radio Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. I've been enjoying those.
Yes. Motormouth videos, and we have Motormouth radio, both pages. Oh, I'm sorry, no, Facebook is just Moaning Mouth Radio. We're gonna be. We gotta put it up on the Instagram page. I put it up as a reel. That's right. But we got to put it on the YouTube channel pages. That's where I got to put it.
Yeah.
So we're playing around. So for Louis Lee and all his playing in traffic insanity, he kicked us off with some great topics tonight. And Paul and Papa Squirrel, everybody joining in. Of course, Medical Man Brian with the tool stuff and tool cars and food. That's always good. Justin Isaac, you guys always carry out the back end, and I'm here to just kind of take it out at the end. So
yeah. Hey, Ray, before we roll, did you ever find out about having guests in the radio? I mean, having that back, or you were going to look into
having guests
back in the studio?
Oh yeah, I've had guys in the studio already.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you want to come in?
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah, I can bring you in. Oh yeah, that was a COVID thing, but yeah, I've had people in the studio already. Yeah, it's not a problem. Well, I just got to get my vehicle stuff straightened out. You might have to come pick me up at the train station. No problem. I can do that. I got a train station. This is a train station right out across the highway from my house. It's right here.
The only problem is when the wife puts me on the train, that might be the one-way ticket.
Right. You get a suitcase with a one-way ticket, and it's like, see ya.
But I'll be back, sweetheart. Yeah, I don't think so.
You're gonna have that stick with the bandana filled, hanging from the back.
The hobo pack.
Yeah, the hobo pack.
Oh shit.
That's funny.
Okay.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for this week. We'll check in during the week with all the insanity. I'll let you know how this trip tomorrow goes because I'm gonna go look at this 75 and maybe some more cars. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm going in the shop. I'm taking myself into the shop Saturday because I got to put a radiator in the Protege, our beater car. I got the radiator from Rock. I've had it for a couple of weeks, so I'm gonna do it in the shop. But it's gonna be like -8 degrees outside, so.
I gotta put a new seatbelt in Emma's car. So.
What happened with the replacement car?
Well, that's why we're still juggling. We're still playing around with the insurance company, and they got.
Car isn't drivable, right? The Jetta isn't drivable. The Jetta.
Oh no, it's totaled. It's gone.
Yeah. Right.
So we've been jockeying cars around, and Emma goes, I guess I need to say something. And I'm like, what do you mean you got to say something? She goes, every once in a while, my seatbelt just unhooks.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, okay. And so I went and looked, and it had junkyard writing all on it. And then I started doing a little more looking into it. And supposedly they had like 2 different size latches.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if she's just got one a wrong one or
maybe
what.
Just need the other. Maybe just need the mating. What kind of car is she driving?
She drives a Sonata, a Hyundai Sonata.
Right.
And so when I started looking up, the seatbelt and everything, it came up. They had something like one was 18 millimeters and another one was 22 millimeters, and this will work, but not in a truck, and this is different, and and I was like, Jesus Christ, it's a freaking seatbelt.
Why would that have been changed in her car, though?
I don't know. I started looking around and realized like nobody had one, so I don't know if there was a problem. I mean, it's like. There was an issue or something. I don't know. I finally found a new one, so I got to change and put a seatbelt. I'm hoping I can sneak it out. I don't know if I got to pull the seat out.
Yeah.
I think there's enough room down in there with the, but I'm hoping that I can get it out and I don't have to pull the seat out.
And now it's -8 degrees.
I know, especially it's supposed to be a little bit of a cooler weekend,
to say the least. So I told them today already. I said, "Listen, guys, I'm coming down here Saturday with my own car, so make sure I can get in this damn place. Because sometimes you go there, you can't get near the place." I was like, "If there's something in the bay, make sure I can move out, and if there's something outside, make sure you leave a key because I'm coming in."
Yeah,
it's like I'm gonna be here and screw that. So.
That's crazy.
It's going to be my Saturday morning.
hopefully next week my internet will finally stop lagging. It's gotten better, but I got a new modem, but I had to have them come out, and because I figured with the new modem and last week it was still kind of lagging off and on. It had to be probably in the cable lines, the cactus.
Much better this week though. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still kind of laggy. So I guess they came this afternoon while I was coaching, and my daughter was telling me they found something with the main line coming in.
They cleaned the scorpions out of it.
Yeah.
They did that. They did that shake and bake, right?
Right. Well, it's like Johnny Gage yesterday. He had the stewardess that came back from Rio, or whatever, and he found a scorpion with the ice tongs, and they had to bring it in because she got bit and she was getting dressed.
You guys are a mess.
Cool. Yeah, we are. But, hey, it's your mess, so you've inherited it.
I know. Trust me.
All right, guys.
Play nice.
For the plane and traffic crowd, all the regulars, check us on the replay. Motormouth Radio out. Check us on Sunday afternoon. I was trying to get Carl Anthony in this week, but he's going on taking his wife somewhere for the weekend. So he's not coming in. So whatever. We'll play nice again. All right.
All right, guys. Be good. Stay out of trouble.